Tonight on the Black Channel, well, take a look at who's come crawling his way out of mothballs to lecture us. In case you hadn't heard, Barack Obama, because Kamala Harris's numbers are not looking good now, we'll cover that in a little bit. He has decided to go the Bill Cosby pound cake route. You thought he was doing bad talking about black men when he was president. Kamala Harris's numbers are in trouble here. Her internal polls are obviously showing that she's in decline. So they sent out none other than Barack Obama, and this is what he chose to say. Of all the things he could bring up, this was going to be the winning speech from him.
I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind.
Please. Yes.
Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
First of all, I'm only going to stop here because this is YouTube, so to avoid any copyright issues, although this shouldn't be copyrighted. But yeah, I want to talk to the brothers. That was just ultra cringe. You don't talk like that, Obama. Who are the brothers you know? Who are the brothers in your daily life? Who are the black people that you associate with in your daily existence? Because the issue, no offense, but for some of y'all mixed folk, you and Kamala, we're looking around and the Democrats plucked you all out of obscurity. And we look around to see, by the way, what part of the black experience are you involved in? And other than Jeremiah Wright's church, you don't actually have a connection. So exactly who are your brothers you're referring to? You got to have some credibility on that. And by the way, who are these brothers you're talking about? Because we're looking around you and we don't see where you associate with anybody. So all of a sudden, you're here to lecture and wag your finger at the brothers? Whose brothers are they? Not yours.
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear.
Okay, and how these folks standing around him are dressed, I mean, this really says it all. Out of touch.
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences.
I'm letting this play here, but that part he just said right there, that was the part that set me off. That was the part that sent me off the deep end for him to say that right there. I'm like, the audacity of such a ridiculous statement. That's complete science fiction. You should be embarrassed to, I know politicians get paid to lie, but to say a lie that tremendous, to make up a history of camaraderie with us that doesn't exist and didn't exist then and doesn't exist now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let this finish playing, but we're going to come back to that part right there because what he just said, that was despicable, reprehensible, and outrageous.
Just had to work harder and do more.
Work harder and do more. You mean laying up with Willie Brown? That was the hard work?
And overcome.
Don't you mean come over?
And achieves the second highest office in the land. And is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities. From housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine. And making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act, so everybody's got health care, and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person.
So what you're doing right now is not showing disdain and disregard for black men. You did this when you were president. So this isn't disdain or disregard. The other guy is. Because when you said there's a guy on the other side showing disdain for us, I was like, Obama, you running for the Republicans? That's news. Who the hell is he talking to?
And you're thinking about sitting out? I'm not. But, you know.
What was the funny part there? This is the problem when you have a bunch of ass-kissing, glad-handing yes men around you. What the hell was the funny part here? What y'all laughing at? What the hell's so funny?
I'm not. But, you know, because of Putin might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
And who are the black men that Barack Hussein Obama has talked to in the last 12 months? Who are the black men on the street, the average black man at the grocery store, the average black man at the gas station that he's spoken to, that he heard that from? Well, I got the feeling of what? Who are you in contact with in the real world that you got that from firsthand? Because it sounds to me like you freestyling and making up garbage off the top of your dome and making a fool of yourself. Who the hell did you speak to who gave you that information? Or are you just making this up as you go along? Well, I feel a certain way. I didn't ask about your feelings. Where are your facts?
And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time.
But Kamala isn't one of the women in our lives. She ain't had our back. She's had Doug Emhoff's back. This fella ain't thinking about nothing. He wants to go to people who just feel their way through things and are not saying, by the way, let me think about what you just said for a moment and figure out if that's a true statement. We see the facts of her daily life. Where is she joined with black people in her daily life? I only see her joined with Doug.
They've been raising us and working and having our backs.
Kamala Harris raised us? Excuse me? And furthermore, the folks he's talking about are those who come from the soil. He's talking about the descendants of the slaves. He's talking about the freedmen. He's talking about the foundation. He's not talking about Kamala Harris and that questionable background she got. So he's not talking about his life experience or the black women in his family tree. And you're certainly not talking about the black women, asterisk, in hers. So who are you talking about? Once again, dude, if you're going to write a science fiction novel, at least have some basis in at least in physics. When has Kamala Harris had our backs? She's one of the black women who's had our backs since when? Who are the young black people that she's helped and raised up? Dude, you can't make this garbage up and then people start asking questions and you fall on your face like this. Not a good look.
And when we get in trouble, and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting.
What? Kamala Harris is the system. When we were getting in trouble and the system wasn't working for us, Kamala Harris is the system. That system he just referred to, she is the system. Prosecuting attorney general, lock them up. We need workers in fire camp. She is the system. Y'all, this Negro ain't even thought about this. Negro in quotations. He hadn't even thought about this. He is trying to freestyle his way through a speech, and he literally ain't thought a word about this. So we're all just gonna forget that she is the system. Locking up innocent black folk. I posted that on my YouTube. So now we just gonna disregard that because Obama was the system, sir. Isn't she the system? Now you're going to tell us that the Attorney General of California is not the system. District Attorney in California is not the system now. That's what you're going to tell us.
And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you?
No, we're not voting for you. Somebody with a history of denigrating us? No, no, we're not going to support you. Oh, you mean somebody else? Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about yourself again.
Because you think that's a sign of strength? Because that's what being a man is? Putting women down?
So is this what being a black man is? Putting black men down? So first of all, from the limpest, weakest dude in the room, look at those spaghetti arms. But so this is you being a black man. Every time you show up, you want to wag your finger at black men that you've had no contact with. Who are the black men that Barack Obama's had contact with? Because I can show you the white men he's on a boat with. Who are the black men that he associates with? Who are the black men he's been in contact with? Who are the black men he's been dealing with? Name the names. Name where's your credibility? What you standing on to be able to speak to us? Who are the black men who've been getting raised up since you left office? Hell, when you were in office. Who are the black men who can vouch for your credentials about what they didn't have before you showed up and where you've been of any effect or any use? Every time we turn around, this is what you do when you show up in front of black men. This old plantation garbage. Everything is abusive and verbally abusive and critical and talking to us in a manner you don't talk to any of them white men who have a receipt for your ass. You don't talk to any of them like this. You don't tell them about the biggest misogynist on the planet, and you don't tell them about their misogyny, their racism. You don't wag your finger like this. You come among black men, you think this is going to make you more of a black man? You've been hanging out with Roland Martin's little dumpling-built ass too much. This ain't it right here, buddy. Notice I didn't say brother, I said buddy. All right, now, so you all have heard the offending clip. And by the way, let me be clear here tonight. I would like to do a full program, but if folks do not rock with what I'm saying here tonight, let me go ahead and shut it down. If you all agree with what I'm saying here tonight, give me the black fist emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button. There's over 3,500 people in here live tonight, and I'm ready to cook, but we need to do this the right way. I have a number of different reasons, but we ain't gonna sit on the fence about this. So everybody who riding, that's great. If we not, let's go ahead and do something productive. But if you feeling what I'm saying, give me the black fist emoji, and I need to hit my likes button. We're very quickly heading toward 4,000 people, and this matters a lot. This matters because I voted for Barack Obama in 2008 because I told you all then he's talking like the Black Channel. He knew exactly what to say in 2008 when he was running for president. He knew exactly what it was we wanted, and as soon as he got into office, he ignored every single bit of it, and I said, that'll be the last damn time you pull a bait and switch on me. You are done for life. Don't ever think you can come back and slither your way back over here and got credibility. This abusive stuff where you don't do nothing for us and then you come back to us talking all sassy and defiant. That works with them old niggas. What? And don't worry, folks, we got a full plate here tonight of audio. But that works with them. That doesn't work on us. That trick bag stuff where you sit up here and, hey, brother man, when you want to vote, and then I say, hey, here's what you need to do for us, and then it never gets done, but you doing for everybody else on earth? Oh, no, dude, that's it. You out. You're done. Your card's been clipped. We're finished with you. You don't have a bunch of old rickety Negroes anymore for you to come and sell that snake oil to, man. You can't sell that old line anymore. That's not going to work. So thinking that you going to show up and here's the problem here. Barack is still listening to the white media that tells him he's some black messiah. Even though candidates he's been backing in elections, whether it's Virginia governor or whatever, his candidates keep getting their butts kicked. They're still trying to sell this marketing gimmick that Barack Obama has influence and he's the black messiah. Right now, that man is terrified to death. If Kamala Harris loses this election, his credibility and relevance just went out the window. You can no longer say you have credibility and relevance. If you came stomping for her like this, you just crashed all the way out. Obama crashes out for Kamala like this. And if she loses, dude, that's it. You've liquidated your assets. You're done. You're done. Let me go ahead and back this up. So first of all, I want to take you all through an analysis of this so you understand exactly that this is staged. This whole thing is staged. Everything you see back here behind them, his appearance here, this is all staged. First of all, I want to deal with the camera. I'm going to turn off the audio, so take a look at how shaky this camera is. I want you to understand this. This is staged. This is supposed to be a damn professional cameraman. And yet, they got the camera that they're deliberately, he can hold this camera much steadier than this. Even if he's got it on his shoulder. Y'all watch the evening news. He can hold that camera much steadier than this. This is supposed to give it a feeling like NYPD Blue or, this is a regular person holding a camera and it's moving, it's got kinetic energy. This is staged. Even the cameraman. Take a look over here on the right. You got this woman holding the camera. She got it rock solid. This white man over here, he ain't shaking around, but the fella filming Obama like it's NYPD Blue. So the camera is floating around. So this is supposed to look like, archival footage or just the regular person doing this. So this is completely staged. Next order of business. Who dresses like this, man? Who dresses like this? This is not indicative of us. Who dresses like this, man? They don't. And that's why you're doing it.
When on the one hand you have our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
So first thing he wants to do is wag his finger. Understand something. First thing, dude, you ran for office 12 years ago was the last time you ran for office. The media can sit up here and try to act like you're the Michael Jackson of politics. No, you're not. You ran 12 years ago. That's an eternity ago. So to try to pretend that you still have the same relevance now, that works at CNN at their cocktail parties and their caviar dinners. This isn't the real world. If Barack tried to run today, he'd most likely lose, but if he did win, he would squeak his way through it, but he wouldn't win talking like this. So to come back and act like we owe you something. Well, y'all are not showing up like you did for me because we're not the same people who showed up for you. We're different. What have you done for us? We saw your track record. We're different. You the same old failed politician. We're different. So no, we don't have any nostalgic memories or nostalgic feelings around your election. We've got hostility toward that because you were a bait and switch. You double-crossed us. We don't have any fond memories of you and your presidency. So you already shooting yourself in the foot trying to sell us on your presidency, dude. Your presidency was a loss. Your presidency was a L. Your presidency was a failure. Except for the Democrat Party. Oh, never mind. Hillary Clinton lost right after you. It wasn't even a win for them. So trying to sell how things were when you ran, dude, you're trying to sell a negative and you don't even know it.
Now,
by the way, for those of you who don't remember, he keeps doing his mouth like this. Y'all remember he did that with the Olympic basketball gymnast team or whatever? He kept doing that. Dude, you're trying to do all these callbacks to your golden oldies and your highlight reel of memeable photographs. Man, if you don't stop this cornball ass stuff out.
Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
That right there is sickening. Dude, when you were the little unknown biracial kid back in 2008 who was saying all the right things, we gave you the credibility of the doubt because you wasn't solid and you didn't have anything really to substantiate you other than getting your ass clapped by Bobby Rush. No Diddy. You didn't have nothing. You didn't have anything. So don't come to a bunch of men that you don't have any connection to and don't have any daily rapport or even interaction with talking about brothers. You have to earn the right to say that word. You don't just get walk in the room and talk about my granddaddy was black. Hello, brothers. Don't let the fact that you've been sleeping next to Michelle all this time, after all the white women for decades, don't let that fact that you was able to pull that off fool you into thinking that we're all sitting over here deceived. You gotta earn the right to say the word brother. First of all, it's cringe when you say it because you ain't got no credibility behind it. Who are your brothers that you deal with who got credibility with us? When you say it, dude, it looks corny, it looks crazy, it looks cringe, and ain't nobody told you. We're not falling for it. You lost your credibility, so all you're doing right now, Obama, is reminding us of why we don't fool with you anymore. That's all you're doing now. You're reminding us of all the things we don't like about you. All the phony things about you. That's all you're doing is reminding us, oh yeah, that's that phony thing you did. This is that phony thing. And you and Kamala got that in common. This phony stuff. Yeah, oh, that's that fake phony thing you kept doing. Black when convenient. Oh, they need a vote. Well, now we can find Obama. Couldn't find him for the last 12 years. Now they need some votes so he can keep getting some money to fund that lifestyle. Now, all of a sudden, we can find him? No, crawl yourself back in that hole you've been in for the last 12 years. We good over here.
So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
How you going to speak to us and you ain't one of us? How's that going to work?
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to...
Did you? Now, he couldn't even contain himself. He said that and he knew, oh, this is going to make a highlight reel criticizing me all over the place. Folks, when you have somebody who, quote, grew up like you,
who grew up like you, knows you.
You saw how quickly he moved off that grew up like you. Yeah, dude, what part of Kamala, how many of us got a Indian mother and a Jamaican father? Still working on confirming that black thing. How many of us, that's us, grew up like us? Dude, what neighborhood, her schooling, oh, she grew up so much like us that she identifies as Hindu Indian. That's like us? They not like us. Dude, you're saying crazy talk. As if, so we're just supposed to ignore what we see and just whatever you repaint her as, that's what it is. How many of us grew up like that? Who, you don't even know, you're not even two people away from somebody you know could tell you something like that. Grew up like us. What part of her childhood was like us? She can't even, there's not a single part of her childhood that she can talk about that resonates with us. She is divorced from black society until she decided that she wanted to go into a career in politics, and that's when she chose the college she went to. That was when she finally decided, I can't make it in America as anything other than black. Better get on to that. But when it was time to actually get elected, oh, I'm Asian. So they send out their favorite tether mouthpiece to sit up here and try to play Pied Piper with the rest of us, lying through his teeth. Now, she grew up like you. Man, if you don't quit your lying, you can't name a single part of her upbringing that is similar to ours. And I'm not saying that that is necessarily a negative. What I'm saying is don't lie and say she grew up like us. Donald Trump didn't grow up like us. Okay, and he's not claiming he did. J.D. Vance didn't grow up like us. He's not claiming he did. I'm not voting for either one of them. But by the way, they're not trying to insult me by lying to my face and claiming that their upbringing, which was totally different from ours, that, oh, she grew up like y'all. Why? Because she claims to be black? She claims it. Can we prove it? She claims it. But you can't actually substantiate that statement. You're trying to sloganize something. So here you are banging on words. You know, she black. She grew up like you. Grew up like us. How? Take a look in her life today. Yeah, she grew up like us so much. She said, "Get these black men away from me." Yeah, that's how much blackness mattered to her. Yeah, dude, she grew up like us so much that she married the first white man she could. And you trying to tell us that that's like us. He thinks he's talking to the old fools of the civil rights generation. He doesn't get it just yet. He's going to have to get his butt whooped in an election before it finally sinks into him that, yeah, that's not going to work.
Went to college. Somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences.
He snuck in that joy thing, understands the pain and struggle. What the hell is joyful about pain and struggle? But furthermore, what were her pains and struggles, dude? Passing the SAT? What were her pains and struggles you referring to, man? She has lived a pampered life. She has been the privileged Negro, in quotations. White folk have loved Kamala Harris. She's never dealt with racism. You can't name a single place where her blackness was a negative. Oh yeah, she didn't claim it until she had national aspirations. When she was in California, she was Asian. When she got national aspirations, now she pivots to black. She has never been discriminated against, held back, stymied, stigmatized because by the dominant society. They've never done that. That's our experience. You're trying to project our experience onto her. You can't name a single person who can vouch for, once again, folks, he can't name anyone who can vouch for what he just said. Kamala Harris doesn't have any racism stories. Kamala Harris doesn't have any driving while black stories. Kamala Harris doesn't have any couldn't buy the house we wanted to because you black stories. Kamala Harris doesn't have any bad credit because you're black stories. Kamala Harris doesn't have any got fired from your job because you're black stories. Let's just keep it real, she showed some of that beige thigh, and the white men around her said, thumbs up. So let's just keep it real about what her experience is. Her experience has not been our experience. And you lying and claiming it is, dude, you can't give us any proof whatsoever. You can't substantiate any of this. I know politicians lie, but dude, you're taking it to a whole new level. You are taking it to a whole new level of lying. Don't be ridiculous. When you have to go to this extent of deceit and just make up a history, so yeah, you recognize all the things she doesn't have. And you know it's a problem. You see all that, you hear it, you recognize it. You know these are all the things she doesn't have. She doesn't have it, she ain't got it, she's not on the way to getting it. So you're exposing what the weakness is. And you know what it is. Yeah, her blackness. So, it's because she a woman. Dude, if you don't stop trying to pull off that lie, she has no black credentials. She has no black history. She's had some black sex partners. Damn! But what she doesn't have is a black history. She has a black sexual history, but she does not have a black social history. Now tell me which part of that I just said is a lie. Tell me where I just lied. Tell me where what I just said was factually wrong and fake. I'll wait.
We said to work harder and do more.
Okay, I mean, dude, if you call seducing Willie Brown working harder and doing more, how many dark-skinned black women, I said it, how many dark-skinned black women worked harder than Kamala Harris, and because they wasn't willing to hustle them draws, they're still sitting in California because they were not Willie Brown or Gavin Newsom's cup of tea. Let's just get that on the table. Here we are 2-3 decades later. How many other black women who wasn't willing to trick off and wasn't willing to get on the casting couch and didn't have the complexion for the affection? They didn't look exotic. You trying to act like she's one of the great legal minds of our time. Give me a damn break. She isn't some brilliant litigator, neither were you. But she's not some brilliant legal mind or some phenomenal litigator. She wasn't some outstanding, fantastic attorney. Fantastic attorneys become Johnny Cochran. This woman's name will never be mentioned in the history of the legal annals next to Johnny Cochran. Never. If you're going to fabricate a person's history, dude, you need something to substantiate it on. But no, she didn't work as hard as we do. She didn't have to. She goes in with that straight hair. She wants to claim black, but she goes in with her straight hair and her paper bag test passing skin, and that's what's gotten her. And he talking about she worked harder. Worked harder at what? Other than triple X rated skill set. Worked harder at what, man? Where's the struggle you keep trying to project? That's our struggle. Show us anything that she worked 3 times as hard at. Name one. You can't even name any. That's us you talking about. That's not even you, Barack. You're the definition of non-threatening. That's why you're trying to project. You're saying all these things that are associated with us and apply to us, and you're hoping you can sit up here and lie good enough that we associated with somebody who doesn't have our experience or our credentials. No, she doesn't have either. That's why she can't tell you all. If Kamala Harris had any racism stories, she'd be calling them folk out. Why doesn't she call out the people at the DA's office, the people in City Hall, the people in Sacramento? Why doesn't she call any of them out if she's had any racism stories that like we got? Why didn't she call them out? Because we call out ours. We name ours, but she ain't got none to tell. She's encountered all these police officers, all these state troopers, all these prosecutors, and she ain't found a white supremacist in the damn bunch. We find them every single day, and she hadn't found any in 3 decades. How the hell does that work unless you lying? And that's the way that goes.
And overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
She didn't achieve it. It was given to her. You see, when you're dark skinned and black, you got to earn it. Kamala Harris didn't achieve nothing. Remember, she got kicked out of the 2020 election and Joe Biden said, well, let me go ahead and grab her. She got given that. She didn't overcome anything to be the vice presidential candidate. Dude is just sitting up here. I mean, he's just coming off the dome with the lion. He is just crazy rapid fire freestyling.
And is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities.
Now, notice what he just said there. He said, in our neighborhoods and our communities. Do you notice he didn't say to our people? Damn! Did you notice that little sleight of hand? This old lying bastard is still at it. Our neighborhoods and our communities. That's the minorities and people of color talk. That's the minorities and people of color substitute here. Well, I didn't say our people. I said our communities. We don't want to play these legal jargon games with you and this trick bag language games with you. We ain't going to play that. If she had done something for us, we would be talking about what she did. We can talk about what Joe Biden did, 3 strikes. If she actually did something for us, that would be the topic of conversation. You wouldn't have to sit up here and lie your way through this if that were the case.
Housing to make.
What has she done for housing, people? Somebody tell me, what has she done? Not what she hopes to do, not what she proposes to do. What has Kamala Harris done for black people in housing since she got elected in politics 20, 30 years ago? What has she done? She gotten some black folk kicked out their houses. What has she done for black people in housing, sir? She's got concrete plans. No. She's been in politics for decades. What has she done? Show me the proof on the table that shows me she got a track record. Oh, well, if you vote for her, you mean like vote for you? Well, vote for her first and then she'll do it. You mean like we voted for you first and waited to see if you do it? Oh, somebody was right. She did give housing to illegals. Well, she's made sure about that. She has given housing to the illegals. She has done that. Oh, and she's provided black folk housing in prison. So she's done that one. So that she has done. Okay. Got it.
Ensure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine. And
now that was a devious, devilish little scheme he just played right there. So that our grandparents can afford their medication. Do you realize what he just did was he talked past us? That we're supposed to be looking out for everyone except ourselves. I'm talking about the audience. I want to talk to the black men that y'all need to vote for them so you can do for everybody else. So the grandparents can afford their medication. What has she done for us? She hasn't done anything for that. And Obama didn't do a damn thing about the insurance companies or the pharmaceutical companies. They're charging Americans 50 and 100 times what they charge everywhere else. He ain't did a damn thing, so he can go get him a yacht. That's demonic to say something like that. That's satanic to say something like that. Well, you need to look out for everybody else. I thought you were going to talk to us. I thought you were talking to the folks sitting right here in front of you. And he's telling you that what we can do for ourselves is take care of him and everybody else. And meanwhile, he's not discussing how we're going to get the tools to even do that. The majority of us are not sitting here worrying about prescription drugs. We're worrying about the damn rent. He's not saying anything about that. We're worried about the fact that we don't have the same economic mobility or competitiveness these other folk have because you've given them things like you give Elon Musk, like you gave Donald Trump. Now it's time for you to cut the check over here, and he wants to talk about, well, you got to look out for grandma's prescription pills. She got insurance. She going to be all right. Furthermore, there's the real thing. None of y'all got old folk who can't get their insurance, can't get their medications. They sitting up there hogging the line at Walmart. Every time you go to the pharmacy or Walmart, there they are. I'm trying to get through there so I can pick up some more protein powder. It's like, okay, I got away from grandma's walker to get out the way. They got their prescription medication insurance. They got that. Stop trying to sell that lie.
Making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act. So
there he goes back to medication again. He's talking to the old folk in the room because he couldn't keep up the lie he just said about, well, keeping prices down and watching out for rent. She's in office right now. What has she done about either of those other than send them up? She's in office now, dude. What is she doing now? She's sitting there now. And he's like, well, don't worry about that. Hurry up and get her elected. So, and then we'll touch that. No. She's in there today. Tell her to do it right now. She's in there right now. And by the way, they won't be leaving office until January. She got until January. Do it now. Why are you telling us we have to vote for you to get that? If this is really one of your core principles, do it now. No, we ain't gonna do nothing now. Vote for me and I'll see if I can get around to it. Well, let me see if I can get around to voting for you first. And if you win the election, then I'll see if I can come back and I'll spin the block and see if I can holler back at you.
everybody's got health care and cares about things like education. And
see, here's where you show how out of touch you are, folks. He's talking about medication. This dude is stuck back in 2008 like some old Negro with a Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham back in the 1970s. Dude, we've moved past that. That's not the priority. You already sold that going on 20 years ago. Bruh, you can't keep selling the same old thing. We've moved past that. We got a new agenda now because you lied and baited and switched the first time around. We're not falling for that anymore. We've moved past all this Medicare, Medicaid, prescription drug talk. You can't sell us on that anymore. You got to come talking to us like you talk to all these other people. They understand something. When they go to APAC, when they go to the Asian Pacific Islanders, they don't talk about prescription drugs to them. They go straight to the economics. I showed y'all that. They come talking to us. Well, do you need a scholarship and some prescription drugs? Meanwhile, Obama's children are not relying on either one. Damn! Oh, yeah, by the way, Obama, your daughters, who are not interested in black men, by the way. Your daughters who are not interested in black men, by the way. Couldn't help but notice that. Your daughter's not worried about a scholarship. They're not worried about prescription drugs. They probably worry about other kinds of drugs right now based on what I've seen. So, by the way, your daughters ain't talking about that. Yeah, we want our kids and our people to be talking the same way your daughters are. So if that's not the topic of conversation with your daughters, how the hell are you going to start that over here with us? No, let's have the conversation your daughters are having. That you've already made sure where they're going to land when they leave college. You've already made sure they're going to have an upper middle class lifestyle when they leave college. Don't matter if they smoke, don't matter if they drink, don't matter if they get passed around the university. It doesn't matter what they do. You've made sure your daughter's going to be all right. Yeah, that's what we own. We want that right there. Right there. And that's the only thing you're not talking about.
Entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side.
This is the same garbage he did back in 2008, talking about entrepreneurship. And what the hell did he do for entrepreneurship? Do you all understand that Elon Musk became the richest man in the world under Barack Obama's administration? They use that word entrepreneurship because we put it into the lexicon. We here in the New Black Media put that in the lexicon. Then they started talking about economics, and then finally they moved on to entrepreneurship, and not a thing about us. He used that word. They ain't saying nothing to us. Oh, I'm sorry. We already covered that, didn't we? Remember, Kamala Harris says, well, the Small Business Administration. Now, when they were giving out money to Asians in New York City, they didn't tell them you got to go through the Small Business Administration. They cut the check. They dropped it off. Oh, Asian businesses losing money. We got to make sure they stay above. They got to stay afloat. Black businesses, damn y'all. When they talk to other people, they ain't got to jump through no hoops and play no games, as if the Small Business Administration is not a labyrinth of paperwork and waiting forever to get something done. As if we all don't know what the hell that is. Meanwhile, they cut the check to Elon Musk. Meanwhile, they cut the check to Jeff Bezos. Meanwhile, they cut the check to the Asians. They cut the checks to Jewish people. They cut the check to Latinos. They cutting the check to all of them and telling you and me, well, here, fill out this form, then fill out these other 10 forms over here, and then go to this website, and then put your information over here. Take about an hour to get done with that, and then go ahead and fill out these other 15 forms over here, and then we need to do a credit check, and a background check, and then we need to do an economic check, income check, and then, okay, relative check there. Do you know anybody here who's involved in that? Okay, we'll fill out these other 10 forms over here, and then, okay, it'll take about 60 days for us to come back to this, so we'll get back in touch with you. Okay, it's been 60 days. Okay, we're still looking at it there, but call us back during business hours, Monday through Friday, except on holidays and weekends. That's what they sell us. That's what Kamala Harris is offering. A crazy catacomb of hoops and hurdles you got to jump through. Everybody else, oh, don't worry. All that catacomb stuff, that's for the Negroes. Y'all come over here. Let me get your name, number. All right, we'll cut that check. We got you. Then you and me come there. Hey, they walk right in and walk right out. Oh, yeah, well, can you get back over there to the window you were at? Yeah, I need you over there. No, this is what I'm saying. He thinks he's going to use the trigger words and the trick bag language. Well, we talked about entrepreneurship and economics. Didn't I mention the word? We're beyond mentioning the word, dude. You're supposed to be talking to us about the programs, the cut the check. You're supposed to be talking about that. And that's the part you can't talk about because you didn't do anything. So you're left, well, if you vote for us, we will get something done. You're in office now. Why aren't you doing it now? Elon Musk ain't got to wait for his check. Boeing is putting up planes that are falling out the damn sky. And they ain't got to wait for their check. They sit up here and build military fighter planes that cost $1 billion each and don't work. They got their check now. Let me tell y'all right now, 10 brothers in Harlem could build a better fighter jet than Northrop Grumman is built right now.
And deal with it, nigga.
They're spending $1 billion on a fighter jet that is constantly in mothballs and constantly having to get worked on. And raking in the damn money, and ain't nobody going over there and stopping them. If you and me did that, they'd have all of us in handcuffs. They'd have been took our contract. They would tell us we do shoddy work. That's what they would tell us. We do shoddy work. We don't do any good work. When the stuff's not quality, we keep having to go behind you, and we're cutting your contract. That's what would happen with us. These other folks, and they cut that check. Don't ask no questions. Oh, it's getting worse? Cut them a bigger check. These people are not more, quote, prosperous than us because they're better than us or smarter than us. They're more prosperous than us because you live in a system of white supremacy that gives them that. And Barack Obama knows that we figured this out decades ago. That's why our whole vocabulary and our agenda and our priorities changed. So he's coming to us with that talk, but as usual, they'll acknowledge racism exists, but they're not going to say what they're going to actually do. Folks, once again, do not make Negroes any concrete promises. Remember the WikiLeaks with the Democrats and Hillary Clinton. Do not make any specific promises. Speak in vague generalities. Talk about what your goals are, but do not tell them you're specifically going to do something because you know you're not. You know the goal is to get the vote and cheat the vote and con the vote. It isn't to give them anything. Let me tell y'all something right now. The automotive industry in America is a damn global disgrace. And if we had not been hobbled and handicapped all this time, we would have been took it over, and that thing would be running like, pardon the expression, a well-oiled machine. All they're doing right now is leeching them for as much as they can, and if they don't have a white person they can give all the money to, let's outsource it overseas. When you take a look at places like Flint, Michigan, remember Michael Moore talked about Flint, Michigan decades ago because General Motors was shutting down plants in Flint, Michigan and sending the plants to Mexico. Okay, but if we had been properly funded, we would have been shut that down. And folks are telling you that, oh, the market was too saturated and you couldn't have another car company. Here comes Tesla. Next up is going to be the Chinese and BYD. They only say that garbage when we show up. And one more thing, you fool, right? I'm going to give y'all all the information. And one more thing, these people don't actually build these plants. What? Now, there's the killing part about it. Folks, when in Alabama, when Mercedes showed up, the government finances that, y'all. In Tennessee, in the Carolinas, when these people bring the Hyundai plants over there, the Honda plant, BMW, Mercedes, by the way, they get billions in government quote unquote incentives. So essentially, our tax dollars go to build their plants. Not only that, remember, I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. We had a plant here for 30 years before General Motors shut it down. They had a 25-year tax-free lease. The employees paid taxes. General Motors, the corporation, did not pay any taxes and then had to file bankruptcy. Y'all think we couldn't run it better than that? They opened these plants that are paid for with taxpayer money, government subsidized, incentives, tax credits, all out their ass. And then when you and I show up, they tell us that we got to build it from scratch. Elon Musk, same thing. Texas and California give billions in incentives. They don't start from zero. They hand them a car plant. How that any of us would succeed if you handed us a car plant? We sitting up here talking about give us $1 million for reparations, and they say, okay, here's your million. Elon, here's your 20 billion. Hell yeah, you and me. If they gave us the same damn thing. No, for those of you who don't know, these companies don't even pay for these car plants. The state government, the local government, and the federal government finance those things. Now they'll give them different names like incentives and tax breaks and subsidies. They put in all those titles there, but essentially it's like, hey, we'll build a plant, but you need to go ahead and finance that for us. You take care of that. Make sure we good when we get started, and we'll take it from there. That's what actually happens. You and me don't get that. They'll give them a couple of $1 billion for a car plant, won't give you and me $7 million to build a hotel. Tell us, oh, that's too much, we can't do that. Give Northrop Grumman and Boeing billions of dollars. Folks, these people are being given hundreds of billions. I wasn't even going to get into the sports stadiums. They make sure white folk are given privileges. They are given economic wealth from day one. They ain't even got to fight to earn it. And then if they get in danger of losing it, let's give you another one. Just when it's time for them to screw off all their money and lose it, let's give you another NFL stadium. Give you another one. Not just give you a stadium, let's give you a complex. We're going to give you a sports complex. You're never going to be out of the billionaire status ever again. You and me show up and then they tell us we need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Elon didn't. These folks y'all gave subsidies to. BMW didn't. Mercedes isn't. They're not doing that. So when they say entrepreneurship to us, it means something totally different from what they're saying to these other people. Yes, these car plants you all see, and I've been to most of them usually on the eastern part of the United States. What's that? The Ford plant that they were going to build for batteries in Tennessee. We'll see if it ever happens now. Yeah, subsidies will go. Here we go. Remember, Elon Musk, the building out the car chargers, that's subsidized too. Remember my folks in California. You do understand that was paid for with tax dollars, right? Oh, y'all didn't know that. Those are paid for with tax dollars. Elon Musk is part of the American federal budget. Remember the electric vehicle subsidy? Well, yeah, that goes. There's only one company up until the last 3 or 4 years. Only one company has actually been able to get any of it. Tesla. So let me get this straight, y'all. Giving them the money to make the plant. You give them the money for the suppliers. You give them the money for internationally getting the supplies for the batteries. And then you're giving them tax breaks on top of that to give incentives for folks to buy the cars. And then when we show up, can you call the Small Business Administration? That's what happens when we show up. No, to maintain white supremacy, it has to be given privilege. It has to be given unfair, unearned advantages. It cannot survive naturally on its own. It's not excellent. It never has been. The game is rigged, and the real goal is to get you to play along with it. In the immortal words of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, white folk play dumb about racism, and black folk play dumb along with them, at least until recently we did. Whole different thing today.
And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person.
Somebody tell me the respect that Barack Hussein Obama has ever shown to us. Someone explain to me, show to me, demonstrate to me, state to me the respect that Barack Obama has ever shown to us. He was given the presidency. He was given a historic position. And the first thing he did was turn his pale, pasty ass up at us. That was what he did. Remember when we took to the streets because he wouldn't prosecute any of the police? Damn! He wouldn't prosecute Darren Wilson, Daniel Pantaleo. Remember Eric Holder? Oh, he ain't gonna prosecute nobody. He didn't prosecute any of those people. So we took to the streets our damn selves. Remember, he called us thugs. I'm out there bailing people out, and he calling us thugs. That's whose side he was on. Oh, I got to remind you all about that. Remember in Baltimore, he called us thugs. So the police killing with impunity and the white supremacists out there killing with impunity, those aren't the thugs. Those of us saying we've had enough of that and we're not going to sit here and be victims anymore. Oh, you're the thugs now. Gunning people down in the streets, and that didn't make you no thug. The police doing it on, you folks fighting against that, all that thuggery. While he is refusing to prosecute any of these folk. While he refusing to do that. That's the issue.
And you're thinking about sitting out?
Dude, you can sit up here and crimp your lip and do all those crazy ass hijinks and facial tics you want to, man. You ain't fooling nobody with that. You ain't fooling nobody with that. That damn song and dance stuff you do, man, you ain't fooling nobody with that. We're not looking to be entertained. You didn't get the memo, man. We're not looking for a song and dance. I ain't looking for a laugh because our lives ain't funny out here. This ain't funny. Barack Obama is like the P. Diddy of politics. He got on. He made sure he's good. He made sure he's got all the sex from males or females he wants and done left the rest of us with a worthless ass record contract about what he was supposed to do. He made sure he's all right. Meanwhile, all of us who are signed to the label, we ain't got nothing. We made sure he was okay and the rest of us sitting here with nothing. Now he's coming back. Hey, boo. Hey, I know y'all a little sore about that. He's not even acknowledging what he did wrong. He's just going to go straight past that and act like he can sit up here and wag his finger. Dude, you are not the deadbeat dad we all wish we had. All that damn facial tick stuff, that don't play anymore. Didn't play the first damn time. You stopped being funny over a decade ago. Since you didn't get the memo. Hey, dude, you stopped being funny a decade ago. You stopped being entertaining a decade ago. The garbage you were doing stopped being funny to us a decade ago. Now you come in the room and everybody's like, who this nigga for?
But, Cousin Pookie might be.
Is he talking about Cousin Pookie? Really? Who the hell are you to sit up here and try to talk about a Pookie? Some square ass cornball dude sitting up here trying to talk about Pookie. What the hell you know about that? He tries to drop these little words as if that's going to ingratiate himself to us and associate himself to us and enamor us with him. Everything is cringe, dude. This isn't who you are. You don't talk like this on a daily basis. This ain't you. This fella back here, color coordinated, this is you. This fella back here, all skinning and grinning, and well, you can see, I have a suspicion I know where his allegiances lie. I mean, do you do, but yeah, this is where you at.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that.
I got a problem with you because you came up with all the reasons and excuses for not prosecuting white supremacists. Now he wants to sit up here and complain to us? Dude, you are the king of concocting excuses for not doing things you were told to do. Talk about an insult. Kamala Harris has done nothing but rattle off excuses for why she hasn't done anything for us. Well, make me president and then I'll do halfway something, but it still won't be specifically for you. Now, they're giving specific things to Israel. What? They're giving specific things to Latinos. Damn! They're giving specific things to Asians.
Auntie, chill!
Everybody else gets specifics. They come to us, and it's only with us that you get this real nasty attitude of telling us we don't deserve anything and we shouldn't expect anything. With everybody else, when they got an issue with them, they double down on, okay, here's what we're going to do for y'all. They come to us, well, you know, you need to be, they start telling us about what we need to do. Not what they need to do for us to motivate us, but what we owe them. We don't owe you a damn thing. Understand that in triplicate, dude. We don't owe you a damn thing. Nothing. We gave you way more than you should have had. It's a new day, partner. So unfortunate you missed the memo. It's a new day. We don't owe you anything except to get you the hell out of our faces. We haven't been sitting around talking about, boy, I wish Obama come back, except for the Negroes in the media looking for a job. They're the only ones doing that. Case in point, over there on CNN, got to be careful about copyright issues here, but folks, so they got together a panel of dudes here on CNN. You have, damn me, Coleman Cruz, who doesn't want to be called Coleman Cruz, apparently. He wants to be Coleman Hughes. It rhymes, dude, but it doesn't make you any less Mr. Cruz. So they got a round table of folk up here responding to what Obama said. Believe it or not, it didn't go quite as bad as you might have thought. Didn't go quite as bad in that regard, but it still went pretty bad, especially this one fella, this guy here, especially this one. And I want to get into that one. I want to get into that. So this is them on CNN responding to what Obama had to say there.
But even he can swing in.
And singling them out in this way.
Yeah.
Is Obama in the wrong here with how he's talking about black men in particular and singling them out in this way?
Yeah. Let's start from here. He is still the greatest living retail politician. He's objectively a top 15 president, but even he can swing and miss sometimes. And here.
Yeah, that's the New York Times. This is the kind of fella they hire at the New York Times. They doing light skin stuff. This is who they hire at the New York Times. First thing he does is, smooch them butt cheeks. We don't owe Barack Obama all this damn effusive, look it up. We don't owe him all of this saturation of praise. He ain't earned it. A bunch of Negroes who are still living on symbolism. Oh, he raised our profiles. He got them to think about black folk differently in the newsrooms. That's not a positive. That's not a plus, except to a few individuals. So they're still out here all these decades later, still trying to cover for him. But old dude couldn't really hold it that long. You're wrong out of the gate, giving Obama accolades for stuff he didn't do and doesn't earn.
He's objectively a top 15 president.
Says who?
But even he can swing and miss sometimes. And here he swung and missed.
When's the last time he had a hit, man? What the hell are you talking about? What was the last hit he had?
Here's what he did. Harris has been very strategic about when and how she's spoken about gender and race. And he stepped on that, and when she hasn't spoken about it, he stepped on that message. And I think also with those comments, and there's more to this, but let me just start with this, is that he forgets, at least in that moment, that she doesn't get the benefit of being a historic first the way he did. She's a
And maybe
historic
that-
first woman if she
Maybe
wins.
that's part of the problem. That's what he's
Yeah.
saying.
And
Why doesn't she get the benefit?
Well, first of all, we have to remember that this is a thing. Like Barack Obama has a history of.
Okay, the voice you hear right now is none other than Michael Harriot. The voice you hear right now is Michael Harriot from the Griot. Y'all know Michael.
First of all, we have to remember that this is a thing. Like Barack Obama has a history of kind of chastising, specifically black men. And
Y'all, is that Michael Harriot of the grits? I mean the Griot? Is that Michael Harriot talking like that? Is that him? Must be somebody else. It can't be him speaking like that. It must be somebody else talking. Can't be Michael.
we have to remember that this is a thing. Like Barack Obama has a history of kind of chastising, specifically black men. And like the question is whether what he said is relevant, right? Because there are a few black men, like there are a few white men who are more conservative than black women, and more white men are conservative than white women. But the point is, does this work, right? And there's no evidence that it's true or that it works. And
Y'all, I guess this goes under the category of a broken clock is right once a year. I guess this goes under that category. I can't argue with anything I just heard. Michael Harriot actually got it right for once in his life. They go on CNN and they start channeling their inner Jason Black. So, Michael, he knows who I am, by the way. So Michael is still salty. That's cool. But wow, Michael is talking like us all of a sudden. Now, isn't that interesting? And by the way, hey, Michael, this will be a new thing for you, but this is called a power move. You see, when you've got folks' attention, you don't make yourself more valuable by kissing their butts, Mr. Snerdlick of the New York Times. You become more valuable. That's like, okay, I'm actually going to be pressing even more. No, I'm not going to go along with the program. Yeah, I'm going to be more agitating. That's how you get things done. That's how you acquire power for yourself. Not trying to figure out how to make them more comfortable with you. So that actually halfway worked.
doesn't do that with, like, you've never heard him say, why don't you white women stop being racist and vote for me or Kamala Harris, or they don't talk to Hispanic voters or LGBTQ voters. It's only specifically black men that he takes this tact that doesn't work.
Why do you think that is?
Because you know why.
No,
Okay, Michael got to be scared. No. Let me go ahead and put the video up here so y'all can see when she said, "Why is that?" Michael got scared. As soon as she put him on the spot, Michael got scared when she said that. Y'all don't want to just tell the truth. It's like, yeah, because they see this as a plantation, and when they stomp their foot, we're supposed to just be a given. So when she said that, Michael hesitated, y'all. He stumbled when she said that one.
You've never heard him say, why don't you white women stop being racist and vote for me or Kamala Harris, or they don't talk to Hispanic voters or LGBTQ voters. It's only specifically black men that he takes this tact that doesn't work.
Why do you think that is?
Because you know why.
No,
because
tell me.
The second most loyal, the most progressive group of men on the planet, they don't care about. They assume that they have their vote and they don't have to do anything for it. And
Well, man, oh man. Oh, Michael Harriot is sounding like the Black Channel, ain't he? I mean, out of nowhere. He flipped out of nowhere. When it's time to actually say something, it's like, oh, he channeled us. Oh, man. She made him stumble when he said, you know how it is. No, no, tell me. Yep, Michael, you got to go on the record, nigga. No, ain't no hiding, folks. Michael got to go on the record. She wanted to make sure, hey, dude, if you going to go after Obama, you going to have to go at him with your little bird chest. You going to have to do it. So she put him on the spot to say, hey, if you going to go at Obama, you going to have to go all in. You ain't going to just dip your toe in the waters and then back up off of it. It's like, oh, no. You going to have to go at him. So good on her part for making him do that. Good on her part for making him do that. That's very good. It's like, yeah, if you're going to do that kind of stuff, yeah, bro, you're going to have to stand on it. You're going to have to stand on it.
The point of this is that if you don't vote for Kamala Harris and you're a black man, something must be wrong with you. That is the subtext of everything that they're saying.
Well, okay, but that's what remember Joe Biden said the same damn disrespectful stuff, remember? If you don't vote for him, you ain't black. Okay, well, if you don't vote for him, are you not Jewish? That's how emboldened to disrespect us the civil rights generation made these people. I mean, they are bold with it. They don't talk to anybody else crazy like this. But this is not new. So that's why I'm reminding you, by the way, this is not new or novel. Joe Biden did the same thing. Joe Biden came out and said the same stuff. He came out and tries to define for us what you got to do, that the political party will define what blackness is. They don't ever crook their mouths to try to define for Jewish people what being Jewish is. They don't ever do that, but they show it with us, and we're going to tell you whether you're black enough. We're going to tell you if you're off code as a black person. We'll tell you that. Man, if you don't get the hell up out of here talking crazy.
This is what I would say to this, because I was there when...
And then this guy. I don't know who he is, never heard of him before. He starts off good, but then he slides off. So keep your eyes and ears open there for this Mr. Solomon gentleman.
The NABJ interviewed Kamala Harris in Philadelphia, and what Kamala Harris said then was that you asked that question with the assumption that black men are in somebody's pocket. You can't make that assumption. Black men are just like any other group. They have their interests, and I'm working to get their vote. I don't expect to get it because I am black. I am working to get their vote. And that is what she said. And so I think we have to focus on what she said about black men. And I think we also have to focus on the fact that most black men are going to vote for Kamala Harris anyway. That is the reality. But I think that in talking to black people every day, which I do as a radio host, I've heard some black men say, I'm not voting for her because she is a woman. I don't
believe that. I think that's a gross exaggeration at best. I don't believe that. When I want to see some proof of that, I don't believe that. He might have some trolls on the phone. I do not believe that has seriously happened at all. This is when they start bringing out the damn conspiracy theories and the damn tinfoil hat stuff. They start bringing out the crazy nigga talk when you start hearing things like, I've heard it. I've heard it.
Heard that. And I think that is reprehensible.
Okay.
I got to be honest.
Okay, so he's heard it. I mean, are we, when I say we, I mean the collective we as the country, afraid to just talk about
did y'all get that? Oh, ma'am. Oh, she was doing good for a minute. Do I sniff a zaddy? Oh, do I sniff a zaddy? Do I sniff a zaddy, ma'am? I don't know, y'all. We might have to check the paperwork. She said we. I mean, as a country, do I sniff a zaddy? I'm just wondering. Does she got to make sure she all right when she get home? Oh, ma'am, you got the long weave hanging up there and whatnot, and got the makeup on fleek. I'm just wondering. She caught herself right there. I'm like, that's a strange way to catch yourself, ma'am. Is it that bad? So she wants to make sure that Chad don't feel some kind of way.
And I think that is reprehensible.
Okay.
I got to be honest.
Okay, so he's heard it. I mean, are we, when I say we, I mean the collective we as the country, afraid to just talk about a thing?
I think
is
you can
Obama
talk
saying,
about it, but if you
calling
summon
a thing
Barack Obama to fix a problem, you have to wonder if this fixes a problem. If I am interested in getting Kamala Harris elected, then I am upset because he hurt the thing, the strategy that she was employing to win.
Well, I think part of what has to happen, though, is that you have to have that conversation in private. There are some things you talk about in the barbershop when there's no cameras, right? There's some things that you talk about at home. There's some things that are family business, and I think the mistake that Barack Obama made was to take family business in the street.
I didn't have a problem.
Let me let Coleman in there.
Shaming.
The mistake Barack Obama made was assuming that he's the family. So, yeah. Yeah, Cheryl, like I say, I mean, it's very clear she got that. She's trying to keep her green card.
Voters is a terrible idea. It was bad.
All right, just when you thought this panel couldn't descend into Barnum and Bailey anymore, the very fact that she did this, this is the reason why we got to keep these conversations centered on us. Coleman Cruz shouldn't even be up here. So folks trying to defend, their coming from wherever they come, their backgrounds and whatnot, and then Coleman Cruz shows up. It's like, okay, he doesn't have any credibility or standing. Who are the black people that he represents? Who are the black people like, yeah, that's my dude? Who is that? So who brought him up here? Abby, was that you?
Business in the street.
I didn't have a problem.
Let me let Coleman in there.
Shaming voters is a terrible idea. It was bad when Hillary Clinton did it with deplorables. It was bad when Mitt Romney did it on the eve of the.
Y'all, who's edged up this beard? Who did this? Come on now. Talking about Barack Obama wants to talk about the damn barbershops. He wants to talk about the barbershops. Y'all, who was responsible for this? Who did this? Who sent him on TV like this? Looking like Vlad Tepes? Who did this? Tell me who sent Coleman Cruz on television, got him looking like Dr. Mindbender? Damn! Who edged this up? Whose barber clippers was janky that day? What is this? What is going on here? I need answers. I mean, and then got him on TV big, boy. I mean, he front and centers. Who did this? Bruh, this is like a receding hairline. When it gets to this point right here, so what are we doing? What are we doing? It's over.
Deplorables. It was bad when Mitt Romney did it on the eve of the election. Even if there's a grain of truth to it and there's the occasional radio caller that's going to admit to that sentiment, let's actually look at the fact that Biden was struggling with black voters, and that was a topic of conversation over and over again. So it's not about sexism.
Let's hold on one second.
Yeah, buddy, even Coleman had to say something halfway right. Y'all, this is bad. And by the way, this video's got hundreds of thousands of views now. So it's already taken off. Everywhere you go, folks have latched on to this. This was at the last minute, Obama sits up here and throws a bomb. As if she didn't have enough reasons for people not to support her. At the last minute, she wants to do this.
Let me take a look at this. Let's take a look at the numbers.
Let's take a look at this chart she's going to show
about here.
Very good right here. For this chart she wants to show us, this is the chart she's about to put up on the screen here. Very, very telling. If you want to know why there is panic in Massa's house, it's because there is a revolt in the slave quarters, in the words of Dr. John Henry Clark.
There's been a progressive decline in overall support among black men and, to a lesser degree, black women for the Democratic nominee. Biden was doing better among black men than Harris appears to be.
Folks, I've been saying this since Obama left office. You can let temporary aberrations deceive you. You can get so saturated and drowned in the corporate media that you don't pay attention to numbers anymore. You can let fluke elections lead you to believe that the trend has changed. These people, Pew Research up here, they're showing you, by the way, this is what has been happening for black support of Democrats now since 2012. That was a high watermark in 2012, but for black men and women, it has been a progressive slide downward. I told you all that Roland Martin and them trying to rattle their sabers about, don't worry, the old Negroes are going to save us. That's the only vote we have to worry about. And then I'm saying, by the way, I'm keeping track of the numbers. I'm not going by a trend or an incident. I'm going by a pattern. And I've kept track of the numbers now since 2008. Now CNN is finally, I told you all, if you're waiting for the white corporate media to confirm these things, you're going to be decades behind. I've been saying this to you all for over a decade. Hey, the numbers are softening. 2016 was not a fluke. It was confirmation of the new normal. Now, when I said it, they tried to pretend it didn't exist. But those of you who stick with the new black media, you know Jason stayed on top of his numbers. Now CNN is finally conceding to what I've said all this time. If you've been waiting for them to say it, do you realize you'd be over a decade behind? You all are not shocked. You're like, yeah, Jason told us about this for a decade. Here it is. And the fact that Obama's coming out, crashing out like this, what is he showing you? Oh, they're terrified that they don't have, the civil rights generation is dying out, and the new generation of blacks is not going to sit up here and buck dance and step and fetch it anymore. We are demanding tangibles, and we're not accepting excuses or jive talk. Not a good look. Now, here's the thing. What it shows you clearly is that they've had a decline among both black men and black women. So why are you focusing on black men? When you can clearly see that your numbers have softened across the board, why are you saying that to black men? And the reason for that is because we are the voice. Barack Obama and the Democrats are terrified. When you go on social media, and keep that word in mind, social media, the internet, the broadcast media does not hold sway anymore. The broadcast media doesn't influence anymore. When you go on the internet where news breaks and where people actually listen, like the Black Channel, we're the ones that they're listening to. They listen to us. And it's been slow and progressive, but it's been happening. It's like watching a freight train creep along. It's like, by the way, you realize that sucker, it's big and it's slow, but it's coming. So if the men who are leading the political, socioeconomic conversation are saying this is the direction to go, as the protectors and providers, that you come with us and this is where the protection and provision is, because we are charting out a new path and the women are following. They're trying to make you think that the women are off on something else. No, they're not. They're showing you with these numbers. Oh, the women are following. So why are you focused on the men? Because you're hoping that you can create a gender divide and a gender gap. You're hoping you can hang your hat on that because the men have told you why they've broken away, and it's solid ideology why we've done it. Based on basic politics, power dynamics, quid pro quo, this for that. That the men have broken away, everything else will follow them. Well, can you get the women to pressure the men to stop? Do something. Because every time we talk to the men, they kick Obama's teeth in. Do something. And there's not very much you can do
right now based on some of the better polling that looks at these demographics. So I guess the other part of this is, you're talking about keep the business private. You're saying he's messing up the strategy, but the numbers are the numbers. And he's trying to fix a numerical problem that she has, a math problem that she has.
Right. I agree with most of what you were saying, Solomon. I don't think the problem is that he spoke it out loud. I think the problem is that he singled out black men. In other words, there is a sexism component to this race. There was a sexism component to the Hillary Clinton-Donald Trump race. Right, if Trump wins, he will have only ever beaten women. I can't give you a number, but sexism is in the mix here. But it's not black men specifically. I think it's men, not black men. And that, I think, is part of where Obama went wrong.
And I think we also have to look at numbers and actual statistics, right? Because all of those reliable polling has a small demographic of black men. You're talking about most of them poll at most 40, 50 black men, right?
Well, I don't think in this particular case, just to be clear about what we were looking at there, the exit polls were from the actual elections that we had. And then the Pew polling, Pew looks more closely at specific demographics, right. and they do that in a way.
Stay out the numbers, Michael. You were doing good till you tried to flex on numbers there, bro. Just stay out of that. But what I want to do here, I want to fast forward. I want to fast forward to when they got back to talking to this Solomon dude, because they showed a snippet from the Breakfast Club of a very angry caller about something. I didn't consider that to be relevant. I want to skip forward. They talked to this Solomon dude again, and I want you to hear what he has to say.
they said it's kind of representative of what they hear often on that show, which is why she's going there.
Well, I think that you have people who are angry. I think that you have people who are planted. I think that you have people who are sent to troll. I think that you have people who are sent with a specific message to deliver to black people. And you see it online. I hear it on the radio. I see it on social media. I see it on our Facebook feed as we're doing our show. And so I think some of that is real, and I think some of it is manufactured. I think some of it is performative. But I do think that there are black men at two ends of the spectrum. There's the old black man that's going to say, well, I'm not going to vote for a woman because the Bible says men should be in charge, right? There's that guy. But then there's the young black man who only gets his news from social media and nowhere else. And so he's not watching us. He's not listening. He's not reading me or Michael. He's not reading David. He's not doing any of that. His news comes from social media. And so he has a specific point of view and is likely to believe conspiracy theories. The question is,
did you get that? Well, they're not listening to us. Why would we listen to the bootlicking Negroes on cable TV and broadcast radio? You all failed us. You're all plants and puppets. You've been bought off. You're shills and groupies. All of y'all are looking for a television deal. You're looking for a television show. Those of us who are not doing that, we can speak it like it is. Simply because we don't kiss Obama's ass does not make it conspiracy theories. So when they try to label it that, what he's saying is that he's losing. He recognizes when people actually have a free voice to speak, they don't rock with the terrestrial radio dudes. So he's conceding, folks, this isn't Jason Black talking. This is him speaking. He said they don't listen to us, the young people. He's trying to dress it up. He's telling you what I've been saying for a decade. I invested in a young audience a decade ago. I talked to the young people. We keep in touch with them. Now a bunch of old niggas wearing their corduroy pants trying to talk about, hey, brothers. Talk to them like you got some damn sense. These folk don't know how to do that. So he's letting you know the young people do not listen to him and cable TV and terrestrial radio. Nor should we. They don't want to have to acknowledge, by the way, they don't listen to you. Have you thought for a moment here, Mr. Jones, about why they don't? Oh, because they can see you're a feckless groupie. And they don't want to go along with their vote being delivered. They want their agenda acknowledged and then dealt with. Not you sitting up here telling them that, oh, well, you don't really need to do that. Yeah, we do.
Be in charge, right? There's that guy. But then there's the young black man who only gets his news from social media and nowhere else. And so he's not watching us. He's not listening. He's not reading me or Michael. He's not reading David. He's not doing any of that. His news comes from social media. And so he has a specific point of view and is likely to believe conspiracy theories. The question is, do people who vote, are they on social media or are they on Social Security? I think they're on Social Security.
Okay, so what he just told you is what Roland Martin said in 2020. He's counting on, well, do the people who vote, are they on social media or Social Security? So what he's saying is he's hoping there's enough in the last 4 years that there are enough old black niggas left to come support Kamala Harris. That's what he said. Now, the reason why I played that is I want you to understand, dude, what you just acknowledged was a death sentence either way. The bottom line is it's not like there are going to be more civil rights people to vote in 2028. You're betting the farm on a diminishing demographic. They are an eroding demographic. There's not going to be any new black folk looking to the yonder days of yore and glory in the 60s. So for you to even say that sentence just shows, at best, it is cringeworthy desperation, and at worst, it is being completely illogical and foolish. You're supposed to be investing in the future. You're supposed to be focused on, hey, these future voters, what do we have to do to make sure that they are as reliable as the past has been? He's saying, nope, don't invest in that. Invest in the past. Worry about that. Or if he was talking about the old men who he says read the Bible and say you shouldn't vote for a woman, well, more of those, or those are the ones who actually vote. Well, if they vote, who they going to vote for? So he's all over the place. But what he is conceding is the old media, and particularly the old black media. Yeah, you guys are out of touch, man. You're out of touch, and the youth don't rock with you. They don't fool with you. They can tell you're a puppet. They can tell you're just another puppet, man. You're bought and paid for and owned. They can already see it's like, hey, you already work for them. You already been bought off. And that's the part that's killing you, is that you need to be able to talk to them and influence them. And they've let you know, yeah, we're not listening to you because they don't trust you. And they shouldn't.
And deal with it, nigga.
That's where you at. Oh, but there's more to it, Jason. There is more. Oh, absolutely there is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it would not be a complete program if we did not take a trip to the bowling lane for Roland Bowling Ball Martin.
New polling is fueling concerns that the Harris-Walz campaign needs to do more to appeal to men voters.
Now, this is not Jason Black talking. This is the butt-kissing MSNBC talking, telling you all there's the Kamala Harris camp. The reason why they're all scrambling right now to get to news outlets when they've been hiding from them now for 2 months. The internal polling is showing them. I said that to y'all last week. I said the internal polling must be showing them terrible things. I said that, and in the last 7 days, now the corporate media is saying what I said a week ago and truly 2 weeks ago, that the internal polling must be showing some devastating things, because they're scrambling all of a sudden, and they're specifically talking to us, and they're specifically saying specific things. They must be running their internal polls, and it must look like a bloodbath.
The New York Times poll finds 51% of likely male voters said that they would cast a ballot for Donald Trump if the election were held today. Only 40% said they would vote for Kamala Harris. In an effort to mobilize men in Midwestern states, Governor Walz traveled to Michigan earlier today for an event with black men. Then
Me without my Pepto, it's my own fault. I gotta take the hit on this one. Me without my Pepto. Niggas skinning and grinning. I mean, teeth out. And I want you to understand why that is. These are guys who think they're going to get a boost in politics. They want to show they're with the party. So they show up for these events and they look just like the black Republicans. There's the crazy thing about it, is they look just like the black Republicans. With the folk who compare and contrast this to the folk who showed up in Sacramento for the vote on those phony reparations bills. That's my point. You want to see real black people? Take a look at those folk who showed up in Sacramento for that, and then take a look at the Negroes that show up on CNN and with Tim Walz. You see a radical difference. Yeah, these other folk look like politicians in training, and we look like real people.
attended tonight's football game at Mankato West High School in Minnesota, where he taught and was a football coach. Tomorrow, Governor Walz will go out on an early morning hunt with a group of outdoor content creators in Sleepy Eye, Minnesota. The Harris campaign has enlisted several high-profile men in recent days to help engage male voters to turn out to vote.
Do you realize that all of this just reeks of desperation? You're at the last minute, you're trying to convince men that of what? You've been talking about abortion all this time. And I mentioned last week, you've been talking about how women are the only ones whose bodies are at risk and laws made against their bodies, excuse me. So she's been anti-male all this time, and nobody here over here is talking about that. And you think now you're going to show up with 3 weeks till the election and pick up a shotgun and go varmint hunting and pheasant hunting and, oh, take a look, we're manly men. Sorry, Tim Walz is not the representative of manly men. It's not going to work.
Magic Johnson spoke directly to black men at a rally in Michigan last week.
Another bought and paid for political operative. Magic, love your NBA career, but dude, come on now. All you well-to-do fellas out there who's showing up for your big-time political friends, that does not represent the population.
Our black men, we got to get them out to vote. That's number one. Kamala's opponent promised a lot of things last time to the black community that he did not deliver on.
And Obama didn't, and Biden didn't. You gonna leave them out, Magic, because you own good and you got a little sports team and things done worked out right for you? So now you're gonna sit up here and give us a selective history lesson as if we're just unhappy with Biden and Kamala Harris because we got nothing better to do with our time. It's not a result of what we've observed. They talk to us like Republicans do. That it's not a matter of we observe this, that there are problems with what we observe, and they're not coming to us saying, okay, we're going to deal with the problems that you said is y'all need to overlook that. You know Trump bad. Man, y'all need to learn. That's not going to work.
We got to make sure we help black men understand that.
And here's former President Barack Obama yesterday at a Harris campaign office in Pittsburgh.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
Now, it needs to be said that
Barack Obama wasn't feeling a black woman as a wife until he wanted to run for president. Damn! Look, can we just keep that real? That man didn't fool with black women until he decided he wanted to run for president. Then, just like Kamala Harris, when she wanted to run for office, I need to go to a black college. Barack Obama didn't fool with black folk till he decided he wanted to get into politics. Now he wants to marry a black woman out of nowhere. Didn't talk to a single black female before then. It was nothing but white women. All of a sudden, I need to get me a black female. All of a sudden.
For that.
Now, it needs to be said that black men have been the most reliable voter group supporting Democratic presidential candidates in the last few decades, surpassed only by black women. And some have argued that Obama's tough talk to black men voters is misguided and should be directed toward white men and women, since large majorities of white men and a smaller majority of white women voted for Donald Trump in 2020. But in a country that is divided in an election that is as close as this is, every voter matters. Reaching out to and hearing every voter matters, whether it's black men or union members, as we mentioned, or Muslim and Arab voters in Michigan or Latino voters in North Carolina. So right now, we're going to check in with the organizer of Win with Black Men, my old friend Roland Martin, host of the Roland Martin Unfiltered Digital.
Roland, you should have just used the regular camera. Why they got this nigga sitting up here looking like a Kaiser roll?
Show. He's also the author of the book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. Roland, you and I have been talking about people who have valid reasons to feel a bit disenfranchised or ignored for a really long time, for many, many, many years. And your thing is always, if you have beef, you got to vote, and you should probably vote for those whom you are likely to have the greatest influence over so you can change the way they do business. What's your take right now on this black men conversation?
First of all, I think it's a ridiculous conversation. It reminds me when Stacey Abrams was running for governor of Georgia, and when the election was over, you actually saw the data, and it didn't bear out. The reality is black men are the number 2 largest voting bloc for Democrats. And then when you heard President Obama there talk about the numbers, well, here's what he's talking about. In 2008, 95% of black men voted for then Senator Barack Obama, 5% voted for the Republicans. But here's the thing. In 2012, 11% of black men voted GOP compared to 87% for Obama. So Obama sort of forgets that he lost 6 points because black men felt he didn't do enough.
And no thanks to you. No thanks to Roland Martin. He been kissing Obama's butt cheeks the whole damn time, except when he got upset for a little minute. But he been kissing their butt cheeks the whole time. So it's no thanks to you. You tried everything you could to keep that from happening.
And so what you're seeing in the data, you saw that in 2016. I was one of the people who was yelling in 2012, Democrats better pay attention. Allie, what Democratic white strategists, I mean, very specific here, are not doing is they're not listening to the black people who are in the party.
This hug was just, dude. This is what happens when your political party, this is the manhood in the party. This is what happens when that.
Specific here are not doing is they're not listening to the black people who are in the party. They're not listening to the people who are on the staff. And they don't understand that the black voter has changed. The further you get away from the black civil rights movement, African Americans less self-identified.
People, where are the aliens who abducted Michael Harriot and Roland Martin and replaced them with these Jason Black replicas? You ain't never heard Roland Martin talk like this before now. Yeah, the internal polling obviously is undeniable. You ain't never heard Roland talk like this. I showed y'all in 2020 when he was talking about y'all young folk talking about staying home and not voting for Biden. That don't matter because the civil rights generation is gonna vote for them. Remember? Now all of a sudden, the black voter base has changed. Well, Roland, you know it's changed because it's not yours. You have no influence among the new voter base, so you're very painfully aware that it's changed. And now he's saying what I've said now for going on 2 decades. I was the only guy talking about the civil rights generation and them not being a part of their influence in the vote, in the black vote, diminishing over the last 2 decades. I've been the only person who said that. I've been banging on that nonstop. Roland Martin tried to tell you it wasn't a thing 4 years ago. Oh, what a difference 4 years makes. Oh, what a difference 4 years makes. Now he sounds just like us. Isn't that amazing, y'all? He's on, when he went to MSNBC and had to give an answer, all of a sudden, oh yeah, Jason's right. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, the voter base has changed. Specifically, you can no longer count on that civil rights vote. Well, wow, Jason, Roland, when I said that 5 years ago, you said that's not true. Now Roland is getting in position preparing for the crash.
People who are in the party, then listen to the people who are on the staff. And they don't understand that the black voter has changed. The further you get away from the black civil rights movement, African Americans less self-identified. So guess what? You got to court black people. You got to talk to them. You got to spend more. You can't simply assume.
Oh, man. Now, folks, they're going to ask Roland what the answer is, what the solution is, what we should do, what the Democrats need to do. So I'm going to give you all 3 guesses what Roland's solution to the Democrats' issue is going to be. Number 1, reparations and conceding to our demands. Number 2, integration and conceding to their demands. Or number 3, that the Democrats aren't spending enough money with him. I'm going to give you all 3 guesses. I haven't even gotten there to play it yet, but I'm going to give you all 3 guesses what Roland Martin's solution for the Democrats is and what it is he says they're, quote, doing wrong. Give you 3 guesses to figure which one he's going to go with.
But you're going to reach the black voter in 2024 the same way you did in 1984, 1994, 2008.
Do black men have a particular, as far as you can tell, because you talk to them a lot, do they have a particular thing that they want addressed by Kamala Harris or by either of the candidates?
Okay, folks. Well, is there something in particular specifically that black men want? So here's Roland Martin, who does not identify as a black man. He's a man, he's a Christian, he's a loaf of light bread. But when he talked to Richard Spencer, but he's not a black man. But by the way, now that you just heard that, once again, remember, you want to get the truth out of black folk, let a white person ask the question. So Roland Martin's being asked, well, what is it that black men want, Roland? And see what the answer is.
1994, 2008.
Do black men have a particular, as far as you can tell, because you talk to them a lot, do they have a particular thing that they want addressed by?
That's not a true statement, sir. No, he doesn't. He actually doesn't.
Particular, as far as you can tell, because you talk to them a lot, do they have a particular thing that they want addressed by Kamala Harris or by either of the candidates?
Actually, repeat the question because the control room was talking to another guest.
Sorry.
I couldn't hear
Is there a particular complaint that you've seen from the increasing percentage of black men who might not vote for Kamala Harris? Is there something that they want that will cause them to come back over?
First of all, they want to be listened to. You need to be asking them, what do you care about?
Now, that's what you do when you don't really have an answer. Because all you did is just repeat what that man just said. He said, well, is there anything in particular they want they're asking for? Yeah, you need to listen to them and ask them what they want. So he wasn't ready for that answer. And he doesn't want to say reparations or black empowerment. He doesn't want to say that. So he first comes out with a non-answer. A non-response is what he does. So he wasn't ready.
Either of the candidates?
Actually, repeat the question because the control room was talking to another guest.
Sorry.
I couldn't hear
Is there a particular complaint that you've seen from the increasing percentage of black men who might not vote for Kamala Harris? Is there something that they want that will cause them to come back over?
First of all, they want to be listened to. You need to be asking them, what do you care about? And then what you have to understand is that you can't talk to all black men the same.
Right.
You can't talk to black men with just thinking it's all criminal justice reform, because there are some of us who've never been in trouble with the law. You can't talk to all about economics. She's actually doing that.
You can't talk all about economics? Now, did you see what he just tried to pull there? Did you hear that? It's not just all economics.
First of all, they want to be listened to. You need to be asking them, what do you care about? And then what you have to understand is that you can't talk to all black men the same.
Right.
You can't talk to black men with just thinking it's all criminal justice reform, because there are some of us who've never been in trouble with the law. You can't talk to all about economics. She's actually doing that. But what also has to happen is on her campaign, I would urge her top campaign officials, listen to Senator LaFonza Busler, listen to Cedric Richmond, listen to Congressman Stephen Horsford, listen to Congressman Jim Clyburn, listen to Terrence Woodbury. You have African Americans who understand the data, who know how to communicate. Many of these ads, I was looking at a story today about Future Forward. They're running ads targeting black folks, and I'm sitting there going, but do they resonate? You have to communicate with African Americans differently, and also younger African Americans. A black voter that is 55 plus doesn't see the world the same as a black voter that's 45 and under. And so that's been part of the problem that Democrats are trying to operate on an old playbook. And so you need to be having much different conversations, but also making it clear, what did you accomplish? I would love if they created, if Vice President Harris sort of did.
So you saw him giving that roundabout answer. You need to spend more money over here. There are people who know how to put up ads and how to analyze the data. So Roland means him. These ads, you're putting up ads, but they don't resonate. Roland, yeah, you need to give me more money.
We did that. Look, we did when it comes not just HBCU funding, when it comes to the growth of small businesses, when it comes to actual stimulus, when it comes to closing the wealth gap, when it comes to cutting child poverty. There are a number of things that they've done. The problem is they have not messaged well. And the Department of Justice, this civil rights.
Folks, if they had done those things, this isn't a matter of messaging. We would be talking about what they did. Everybody got their stimulus checks. That's why you don't have to remind anyone. Roland, you're trying to bring up things that never happened. You and Obama are trying to fabricate stuff that never occurred and trying to magnify your lift all boats programs and say, well, that's what we did specifically for you, and that's enough.
Division under Christian Clark is the most active when it comes to criminal justice things that they've done. The Problem is, they have not messaged well. And the Department of Justice, this civil rights division under Kristen Clark, is the most active when it comes to criminal justice reform, putting cops in jail, corrections officers, jail wardens, dealing with housing discrimination.
Lie. She let Carolyn Bryant off the hook, the mother of white supremacy. As far as I'm concerned, she is eternally condemned for that one thing alone. She can never be forgiven. She can never be redeemed. You were in a position to right the greatest wrong in civil rights history in America, and you refuse to do so because you don't come from our lineage. So you see that as a minor obstacle and a minor issue. As far as I'm concerned, Kristen Clark is eternally damned and condemned for that. You can never be forgiven, and you can never be redeemed for it. You had a once in existence opportunity to prove something. I would have a totally different perspective on all of this if I had watched Carolyn Bryant get marched into a federal courtroom, wheeled in federal courtroom in handcuffs. My perspective would be totally different. But you see, they were not going to do that because that's the person they support. They support Carolyn Bryant, which is why you have seen Kristen Clark do exactly what Eric Holder did. They're not going after Daniel Pantaleo. They're not going after Darren Wilson. They're not going after George Zimmerman. No, they let them off the hook. They let them off the hook. No issues there. So Roland is trying to sit up here and rehabilitate them and claim, oh, that was the good stuff there. This is the best he's got. It's the only thing he's got. He's already fallen flat. And for somebody like him, that could be fatal.
The problem is the White House doesn't talk about it. I literally said is the most active when it comes to criminal justice reform, putting cops in jail, corrections officers, jail wardens, dealing with housing discrimination. The problem is the White House doesn't talk about it. I literally said to Karine Jean-Pierre and others, the chief of staff, what are you doing? Your DOJ is killing it. No one knows what you're doing because you don't talk about it.
And this is why if you pay him, you just throwing bad money after worse. Worse money after bad. We already know what they doing. You're just not telling them enough. Yes, you are. We already know, and we're telling you that don't matter to us. We're telling you we're not falling for it. All this symbolism. You're not doing what we told you to do. Where's George Zimmerman's handcuffs? Where are all these folk we sent you after? When we said go after Carolyn Bryant, you ignored us, you refused, you dropped the case against us. We saw that. Roland, well, tell him about something else. We saw that already. You're not going to fix that.
And so that's part of the deal. You have to explain to folks, and Terrence Woodbury and Cornell Belcher's data shows, when you explain to black voters, especially black men, what you've accomplished, the numbers flip. They have to message differently and send the appropriate messengers. And so what Obama did yesterday, he needs to pull back from that and not think it's all about misogyny. Because I'll give you one example, Alan. In Ohio, reproductive rights bill, black men voted at a higher rate than any group in Ohio for reproductive rights bill. Higher than even black women. And so understand.
Okay, Roland is babbling. I'm not sure you can take that. You're going to take anything he says there with a grain of salt. So definitely Roland is sitting up here, got his hand out for money and hoping that he can get something extra. And the problem is y'all are not paying the right people for messaging. You're not paying the right people for messaging. In other words, you need to come pay him. You would get it right if you came and paid me. And furthermore, why the hell do we need more abortion? As if that's a damn positive. What the hell? So that's the premier issue. Also, one other thing, remember the Democrats down there, when Luther Campbell and them were trying to tell us that the biggest issue was housing. They know damn well what the damn issue is. Every time we turn around, these old suspect people sit up here and try to tell us the issue is never what we say it is. It's always something else. Now it's time to vote, and they're all like, ooh, where the men at? Yeah, because the bought and paid for puppets and pawns, you're not going to be able to overturn reality. At some point, mathematics catches up with you. Now, there is one person who was on code. Nina Turner. Nina Turner was on CNN. What a wonderful contrast. Nina Turner was on CNN, and she had something to say about this. She had something to say about Obama's comments All I can say is duck Obama incoming.
You need to appeal to the needs of the voters. And so when I was a delegate for President Obama in both of his elections in Ohio, right now the vice president is down 11 points in Ohio, even though I fully expect President Trump to take Ohio as he did twice, but to be down 11 points compared to President Biden, that is a problem. But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women.
There it is. And there it is. So, I mean, absolutely kill that. There you go. That's how you put them in their place. That's how you shut down the silliness and foolishness. That's the way you address that. So, big props to Nina. That's exactly the way you're supposed to do it.
And what, as a politician, we should be trying to get all voters to vote. And hopefully there are a few good men out there who do care about the stripping away of some of women's bodily autonomy.
What? She was doing good right till she got there. This is where she falls out the damn frame. So she was doing all right till she got there. Okay, Nina, reel it back in, baby. Reel it back in. Reel it back in.
But this is wrong for President Obama. It is a wrong course for the Harris-Walz campaign to lay at the feet of black men when they have their reasons. In 2020, the vice president was labeled a cop, as we know.
But do you think, sorry to interrupt you, Nina, but do you think he's right?
You should not be interrupting her. What are you doing?
That one of the reasons.
First of all, let me point out Nina's absolutely scrumptious skin tone. Damn! First thing I want to do is point out her skin tone is absolutely scrumptious. Abby is over there trying to lighten herself up. Back off the cake soap, ma'am. Take some lessons from Nina, ma'am. I know Zaddy, when they come over to your house, Zaddy is flipping out. But by the way, he'll be digging Nina more. So first of all, I would like to take a moment to stop and acknowledge Nina's absolutely scrumptious skin tone. Take that to Krispy Kreme and start selling it for $12 a box. But in any case here, Abby wants to sit up here and interject.
This is because they don't like the idea of a
It might be some listen, black men are socialized in the same society as any other man. So yes, is misogyny maybe a part of it? But again, is President Obama and is the Harris-Walz campaign going to lecture?
Yeah. Now that right there, I'm like, okay, the cameraman should have been thinking, this was unflattering. I don't know who Becky over here is. I don't know, but oh man, this was unflattering. I don't know what was on your mind. I don't know what you were thinking. It took you too damn long to do this.
Obama and is the Harris-Walz campaign.
What was she doing? What was she doing? Is there a brother over there on the side we don't see? I don't mean to be distracting, but I'm just like, okay. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know what's happening. I'm not trying to, denigrate nobody, but I'm just like, okay.
Walz campaign going to lecture other male groups in the same way that they're lecturing
This is not just about.
I don't think so.
It's not just about Pennsylvania. It's not just about.
Well, that's good enough right there, but you all get the point. You all get the point. So that has been happening here. This has been a bombshell. It's gone off in their faces. It's been awful. Barack Obama, if you want a absolute definitive proof that all of this exaggeration about Obama's political savvy and competence, the fact that this was what he came out with, and worst of all, thinking that he still has the credibility to pull something like this off. See, here's the problem. Barack Obama sits around his damn underwear in the house, whether Michelle is there or not. and he tells himself that he's got historical credibility among the rank and file. Here's the thing, y'all. There are black men who could do this, but it ain't him. A Louis Farrakhan could do this. A Dr. John Henrik Clark could do this. A Malcolm X could do this. A Dr. King could do this. So there are and there have been black men who could talk like this to other black men. There are black men who could do it. Nigga, you ain't it. You have fooled yourself. You're not it. You've been sitting around telling yourself that you're on their level. No, you're not. You're not today. You never will be. No, not him, not Roland, not Magic Johnson. Y'all dudes don't have any credibility. You don't have the gravitas. You ain't got the weight to be able to talk like this. You haven't built up any credibility. You got no credentials. Y'all folk who show up when it's time to get elected and then waiting on the civil rights generation who apparently doesn't have anything to do better than to wait for somebody to show up and pat them on the head. And then you're getting a totally different response from us. There are black men who could do this. You ain't it. You can't have this conversation with us. You can't sit here and wag your finger at us. You have to earn the right to be able to do that. And furthermore, what the hell has Obama done for black women? You talking about other black men? Nigga, what have you done for black women? You're not some paragon of black virtue. What have you done? Other than if there's a female out there thinking she wants to get into politics somewhere and she can't even get a hold of you. What has Barack Obama ever done for black women? I support abortion. That's doing something for them? Well, don't worry. We'll get all the new babies from the illegals. So black women, y'all stop having all these black babies because I ain't want none no way. But we'll get our new babies from the illegals and y'all just cool out with that. That's what we end up with here. That's how they approach us. Please understand something, people. It's getting bad out there and it's getting worse. AP, not great. Newsweek, Kamala Harris gets lackluster support among black voters in a new poll. This is dated today. Can it get worse than this? Hell yeah. New York Times. What? Oh, people, please understand. Please understand this. Dated today, folks. What do you know? The Democrats must have passed around the internal polling to their folks on cable television, their folks in the historic print media. They said, all systems alert, all hands on deck. What Jason has said forever, which is that black vote, I don't believe you're going to get that. Donald Trump choosing J.D. Vance was a major mistake because he's hoping that Kamala Harris implodes and has a major misstep from here to election day. But I said, by the way, she's got plenty of time to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, the support is officially softening. If you want my official position on it, Kamala Harris's support is officially softening. The more she talks, the less people like it. The Democrats are now in pure desperation mode. They are going to shaming tactics. They're going to wagging their finger. They don't know what else to do to help her. Now, I also think that Barack Obama did this deliberately. What? I think he did this on purpose. Damn. Remember, I've told y'all before, the whole goal was to clear the deck from the Biden administration. Well, Kamala Harris is not one of Obama's people. He's part of the Biden administration. So remember, I said they wanted to get rid of both of them. And you'll remember, I told you during my program when Joe Biden said he was stepping down, I said, wow, Biden did something real dirty to Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama. He immediately comes out and endorses Kamala for president. I said, I'll be damned. He backed him into a wall because they wanted to bring in Gavin Newsom. And Biden was like, okay, he's going to step down. But the first thing he did was say, and by the way, everybody needs to support Kamala. So it would have looked horrible if they had tried to move Kamala out the way. That would have been the end of the black vote right there, even for the old Negroes. So when that happened, it's like, oh, you're stuck with Obama. No, you're stuck with Kamala no matter what. And they just put a muzzle on her and told her don't talk. In the last couple of weeks, she's been talking, and the more she talks, the worse it gets. So Obama is now coming out, and I'll be damned. Of all the things she's got a problem with among men, and rather than him handling this the way he would among white men, he comes out with the most adversarial, controversial, combative thing he could possibly say. You know, y'all need to vote for her. I think you misogynist if you don't. Dude, this is your sales pitch? This is your sales pitch. You ain't, if you don't vote for us, you ain't really black. If you don't vote for Kamala, you a misogynist. Dude, this is your winning sales pitch? And you had time to think this over. Are you trying to make her lose? Are you trying to make sure that she loses so that the Democrats can maybe do a reset in 2028? Is that what you're trying to do? Just say, okay, we'll throw this election, we'll be back in 4 years, and Gavin will have plenty of time to run. Which, by the way, if they think that's going to be a cakewalk, they got another damn thought coming. Gavin, we're watching. Everybody knows you're planning to run for president. We're waiting for you. By the way, Gavin, we know you're coming. Worst military strategy in the universe, buddy. When your enemy knows you're coming, we know you're coming, Gavin. We know you're coming. And if you think that our memories are going to be short and you think we're going to give you a pass for what you just did in California, you got another thought coming. So don't worry when you get here. We'll have this ass whooping waiting on you when you get here. It just won't be just California next time. You think Kamala went down in flames quick in 2020? Wait till you see what happens to you. You think Kamala Harris, the last San Francisco treat that came out of California, you thought her campaign in 2020 went down in flames quickly? You think that was bad? Oh, dude, we're waiting on you. We're waiting to knuckle up on you. So come on down here and get this ass whooping. We sitting over here in the corner hitting the punching bag and everything else like, oh, when he gonna get here? When he gonna show up? Like George Foreman getting ready for Ali. Although we ain't gonna have Ali's, we're gonna be Ali in this thing. I did this tonight because I wanted you all to understand that the things we've been saying here, the reason why they do not listen to these folks on CNN, Solomon Jones, the reason folks don't listen to you is because they understand that you're a pawn and a puppet who's trying to sell an audience. You're not actually speaking for our principles and our agenda. You're speaking for your pocketbook and hopefully that the Democrat Party and the political parties will favor you. We're not looking to anybody to do that for us. We're out here in the trenches. We down here in the soil. We sticking with the people. I'm not trying to get a radio deal, a record deal, a television deal, a cable news contract. I ain't trying to get none of that so I can serve the people. Unapologetically, unadulterated, and uncompromising. Y'all are all compromised. All of y'all are doing it for a payday because you're pawns and puppets. We don't have that restriction. And to double down on that, I've been in touch with her people, so we scheduled for tomorrow night. Jill Stein is going to be joining us. I talked to her people. We communicated with them early today. They wanted to make sure that we scheduled a specific time and everything, so I wanted to make sure we had that locked down. So tomorrow night, at the beginning of the program, for those of you who have talked about that before, and you've mentioned that before, it's like, Jason, what about Jill Stein? Well, Jill Stein is scheduled to join us tomorrow night. So all of you, if you want to have that conversation with Jason Black and Jill Stein to see how that goes, and certainly if you have any questions like that you want to have asked, I might entertain those as well. So look for that here coming as well. We are the New Black Media, and this is where it happens. We're not going to have screwball questions going on out there. We got some real stuff to discuss. We got some real things to talk about. And we'll be doing that also. Before we go any further here tonight, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you all very much for your support here. I got a bunch of y'all involved here tonight, so everybody that you see in the super chat here tonight, we appreciate that. Mr. Richburg, as always, thank you very much for that as well. Everyone else involved. We are going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, I'll see about taking some of your calls. This is the Black Channel.
Is your child struggling in school? Wish there was a way to get them the extra help they need? Mr. B, the teacher, is available for online tutoring on both tutor.com and varsitytutors.com platforms. He can help your child in a variety of subjects and is passionate about making learning fun and effective. And for even more learning tips, check out his book, Guidelines for the Successful Student, now available on Amazon.com. For more information or to reach him directly, go to MrBTheTeacher.com today.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And we're going to go ahead and take some of your phone calls here as well. So you definitely want to go ahead and jump on the line for us if you want to speak with us here tonight. If you don't, that's perfectly fine as well. We have a lot to cover here, and I got a lot going on here as well. As you all know, coming up here next week in New York City.
This is Dame Dash with Jason Black.
Hi, I'm Teddy Riley with Jason Black.
My name is Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Hi, I'm Muggsy Bogues with Jason Black.
This is Jada Kiss with Jason Black.
And Black Channel Films.
With Black Channel Films.
And Black Channel Films.
For Black Channel Films.
Tickets are on sale now for 8 a.m. The groundbreaking documentary film, follow-up to our first one. So New York City next weekend is cracking off, and then it rolls from there, going on to D.C., working on our other places as well. So do keep your eyes and ears open. If you're coming to New York, I think you are in for something extraordinary. Don't be surprised if we surprise you. So you have that going for you as well. We're talking tonight here about Barack Obama going out and wagging his finger at black men and saying that if we're not voting for Kamala Harris because I suspect there's misogyny. I suspect that's what's going on there. I suspect you have a problem that she's a woman. I think that's the issue. So once again, he's reminding us that he sees us totally different from everyone else, and that he's giving himself a license to talk to us crazy. Our job is to make sure they understand, yeah, dude, we're not like everybody else. As a matter of fact, it's time you all owe us. You need to give us more deference and give us more respect on account of the fact that we've given you a whole lot more than you've given us. So he's trotted himself on the mothballs and immediately vomited all over himself. So it was a bad look any which way you take a look at it. It didn't go very well, but he was trying. All right, we're going over here. If y'all want to give me a call up, go ahead and hit the Zoom link. I'll bring you on here. I got Brother Elijah on Zoom. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, good evening, big brother Jason. All right, excellent broadcast tonight, as usual. Nothing less but the best, brother. I don't understand this. Kamala Harris, basically, from what I've been told, what I've been learning from you, the first person to crack this was Professor Black Truth, the deception of Kamala Harris. Then Tariq jumped in, talked about some concerns about her when she was first running for 20, and then you was breaking it down. I don't understand this. why are you going to the same exact people that you had no problem locking up, and then now you want to play like we all cool and everything like that? Because I'm wondering, like, I don't see too many of the people she locked up coming out to speak against this woman, because she needs to really go.
Well, look here, that worked for the civil rights generation.
Yes, sir.
I mean, they had this really, this relationship where they were all right with Democrats hazing them and abusing them, this, that, and the other. That was it. That was it. So that worked for them. That worked for them. But it doesn't work for us. So remember, they're not updating the playbook. They're not updating that at all. And that's the only thing they got. So at the end of the day, in reality, this comes from them with the civil rights generation, taught them that you could get away with this. That you could talk to us like that. You don't have to give us anything. You can lock folk up and whatnot. We're going to vote blue no matter who. That's what they were doing. So with that being the case, they're still running it. When you see them trying to give us throwbacks to damn me, Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, it shows you. I told y'all decades ago, they don't update their files.
Yes, sir.
They treat everything the same, as if we're this monolith that's just frozen in time. That's how you know that you have been too good to somebody. They are taking you for granted. As a matter of fact, not just for granted, they're taking that they have a right to our vote. How dare you niggas not vote for us? You don't talk to anybody like that. Well, yeah, well, you different from them. Okay, well, they're no longer talking to us like we're sensible people. They're talking to us like they own us. Now we're not doing what they said, and they're not talking to us like they have to negotiate. Now it's we own you.
Yes, sir.
How dare you not vote for the folk who own you? And what I'm saying is, I said this here before, talked about it a few weeks ago. I told folks this election is not decided by a long shot. The polls are trying to show Kamala Harris is going to win. They're trying to make it seem like she's inevitable. And I've told y'all that is not the case. Anybody who tells you this election is over and that it's it's already predetermined. No, it's not. And that's why I reminded you all, if Kamala Harris loses, this is the end of her political career and the end of Barack Obama's legacy.
What? Oh.
I said that last week. I posted it on Twitter this week. I'm telling y'all, if this woman loses with Barack Obama crashing out like this, it's not just going to take her. It's going to take him with her. Remember, every victory fuels the next victory, and every defeat fuels the next defeat. Obama has been out there stomping for Democrats now for the last 4 years. Most of the time, it's not turning out well. You can't keep going out there getting knocked on your ass and keep telling people that you're still as potent and powerful and effective as you've always been. Now, if Kamala Harris loses this election, that's it. He's done. You can no longer claim he's got political relevance. When she was, after the last 2 months, you can't claim that she didn't have all the advantages. That was the problem with giving her this big boost the last 2 months. My concern after Joe Biden dropped out was that Kamala Harris would be struggling to get support. That was what I was concerned about, because that's what was supposed to happen, that she would struggle to get support, and that would be the excuse why she loses. Or she struggles to get support and she has to really fight to get it, and she finds a way to actually get people over with her before the election, and she wins. But this is the worst of all scenarios, because if she didn't get support, they would have said, well, it's because Joe Biden was a drag on her. It wasn't because she's done all the wrong things. Joe Biden was a drag. That's what they were going to say. But since she came out of the gate with a head of steam, well, you can't use that excuse anymore. You can't say that people were against her anymore. You can't say they didn't give her a chance anymore. Oh, y'all reset the table. So if she loses, I told you all this for the last couple of weeks. Now, my concern was that they would not point to us, because that's the reality. If we don't support her, she can't win. Y'all are going to try to blame Joe Biden if she loses. Now they're making it clear, if she doesn't win, what I told you all for the last year and the last 4 years, if Biden Harris loses, they will come back and blame us. we will be firmly centered in the national conversation again. Everybody's going to be saying what them niggas didn't do. That's what happens Wednesday after the election.
Yes, sir.
That's what occurs. She loses, it's over. And they come back and say the problem was us. And we're waiting and ready for it.
Brother, I got a question. Did the Democrats, particularly Kamala Harris, who's the borders are, her and Mr. Biden, did they really think this through with putting all these? I'm not changing the conversation, but I'm looking at when we're talking about tonight in this election, did they really think this through, that bringing so many of those migrants, okay, respectively, into the country, that was going to literally win them over some votes?
No, that's just part of the long-term strategy. That's not about votes at all. That was the long-term strategy, is what they've been doing. They can no longer count on the civil rights generation vote, and those of us from Gen X forward, they know they've already lost us. So this is why I explained last week, they're doing what all empires that are failing are doing. They're trying to bring in new people who don't have the same grudges against the governmental structure that those of us who've been here have.
Yes, sir.
So that's why they talk all crazy. They'll bring over folks from an immigrant background because they don't have the historical history with this government that we do. So they're coming off the boat just grateful to be here. As long as you let them in, they'll vote however you want them to. They'll roll whatever you support, whatever you get offered, they'll take it because, well, they owe you. That's the difference. Folks who are allowed to come over here now, well, they owe the government. We're in exactly the opposite position. The government owes us. So
yes, sir.
Mathematically, they want to drown it out. So that's their whole reason for doing it. So they're going to keep doing that. Also, I reminded you all about this, but I'm glad we have the opportunity to remind about this again. Please understand, y'all don't realize that this immigrant conversation has really not been framed properly. Yeah, the folks of more recent immigrant background, that's one thing. But folks, I can show you videos of Steve Ballmer, former CEO of Microsoft, on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Proudly talking about he's the son of immigrants from wherever they came from, or son or grandson or whatever. Grandparents or his parents immigrated over here. One of the richest men in America. You wouldn't expect you would hear something like that. And yet there he is. So what I'm saying is that a lot of folks, this conversation has not been properly centered. And because of that, this thing goes a whole lot further and a whole lot deeper with a whole lot more people. Everybody's got a problem with the immigrant folk until we start getting a leg up. Then all of a sudden, everybody wants to bring them over, including your so-called Republicans. Please remember, you can shut all this down. You have a big problem with this in these Republican states: Georgia, the Carolinas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi. But it will require you to go mass incarcerate white men. You can stop that tomorrow. You go arrest these white farmers, these white banks, these white companies that are facilitating all this, under asset forfeiture, because what they're doing is a crime. You go and arrest all of them and seize their assets. That's it. The illegals go back tomorrow morning. They can't stay. They will go back tomorrow morning. They're coming over here because somebody told them, I got a place for you over here. They're not coming over here to try to figure out what they're going to do after the fact. They're coming over here because they were told where they came from. If you can get to America, we got a place to put you. That's what's happened. And they have an agenda for doing it, but that's why they're doing that. So in Kamala Harris's case, yeah, she wants to do that because she identifies as an immigrant. Barack Obama identifies as an immigrant. That's why everything they do is corny and cringe. And they have a lot of other folk who identify the same way. A lot of us have not really taken that into account, that, by the way, yeah, some of these folks who claim to be Democrats or Republicans, and some of them Anglos, I'm like, but they identify as immigrants also, which means ultimately they see this as a good thing because drowning us under them keeps us disenfranchised.
Yes, sir. I got one last question. I'm going to land my plane, big brother. This whole thing with Mr. Obama going talking to the black men at the, I believe this Harris campaign office in Pittsburgh. I have a question. How do you think Barack Obama feels knowing that he could have been the world's best president to the people's worst president of all time, because I just wondered, was it destined for him to crash out like this? And I'm talking about really from the beginning of his political career.
I mean, from his perspective, it's been a resounding success, at least for the part he needed to get. Now he's suffering under the part that he wants to get. He wants to have a solid legacy, and what he sees now is Roland Martin is not going to write your legacy. The new black media will.
Yes, sir.
So every time he marches out there and the folk he pushes keep getting beaten, Stacey Abrams, every time that happens to him, that solidifies his legacy. All he can really do is talk about, well, that didn't happen to me, and talk about the days of yore. But what he can't do is say, by the way, dude, you show up and folks start losing. You are not the hero you once were. That's your legacy now. So the only good news about this is that a lot more people see this a lot more accurately, i.e. see his presidency a lot more skeptically than they used to.
Yes, sir.
The bad news is the damage is done. Now there's the bad news. The bad news is because of the civil rights generation, the damage is done. That's the bad news. But there's more good news. We can do something about it now.
Yes, sir.
We could do something about it now. And we are doing something about it now. So our response is radically different. And like I said, the only thing I want for Barack Obama right now is I just want to basically erase his significance so he can no longer cause any more harm, which is what he's trying to do now. He can't keep misleading people. As long as we succeed at that, then that's the most we can ask for, but that's really the most we can get.
Yes, sir.
Just make sure he can't keep deceiving people and make sure that he's politically impotent and no longer effective. As long as we can neutralize him politically, now he can't cause any more damage. So he can go sit around. He's going to find some old folks who are going to wheel themselves up with their canes. I still support you, baby. And even though he ain't running for nothing. And I love you and Michelle Dan the Dougie. Okay. As long as that's the most he can do, fine. As long as he's only effective at the senior citizens home, okay, we'll take that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get Jay on the line here. Let me go ahead and get Jay on the line here. Let me give Jay a few moments here. Jay, I need you to get your microphone and your camera turned on for me. I won't put you on the big screen, but I do need to make sure we don't have any trolling issues. I'm going to give Jay 5 seconds here to go ahead and get that resolved for me. If he doesn't, I'm just going to assume he wishes he could troll, and if he can't, then I'm just going to go ahead and shut that down for him. Jay, you got 2 seconds to go ahead and get that resolved for me, or permanent vacation. All right, Jay is on a permanent vacation here. So, folks, if you want to call me and everything, you can. Just make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. You do want to have that, just so we can make sure we don't have any trolling issues. So, simple as that right there. But, yeah, that's the playbook they have. That's the playbook they have. So, when you have a situation like that, they are desperate, man. They don't have anything else to offer. They don't have anything else to offer. And it's worked. The real issue is that, by the way, it's worked. It's worked all this time. They've done that and they gotten away with it, and the civil rights generation sat up here and tolerated it. This is a shock to their system. We were supposed to just go along with the program, and what they found out is that, yeah, we ain't looking for jobs. We're not looking for government jobs. We're not looking to get taken in. We ain't looking for you to do nothing. We're saying you got to do the same thing you've done for everybody else. We're not falling for symbolism. We're not falling for window dressing. We ain't taking any substitutes. We're going straight to the heart of the issue. And they have dedicated themselves to say, can we do everything except that? So, yes, you know they're in desperation mode because they've tried out Obama. They trotted him out and he's falling flat on his face at a moment they don't need it. So either he is demonstrating his long-standing historical incompetence, I always told you, or he did this on purpose to make sure he's the only high yellow Negro to ever get in office. Oh boy, wouldn't that be a dirty turn of events? He's like, yeah, let me scuttle this heifer's presidency. Let me go ahead and do that. Let me scuttle that campaign so she don't get in the way anymore. Okay, I'm working on Fonzie here on Zoom. Fonzie has finally called us up here on Zoom, so waiting for him to get his Zimbabwe broadband together. He's moving kind of slowly there. Also, historically here, when you take a look at the polls, man, you take a look at the polls and it's like, folks, if you had to depend on these people to tell us this for the last decade, they've known this. They've known that this is what was happening the whole time. They've known this was going on the whole time. They've known that the numbers were sinking all this time and truly sinking under Obama. They've known this. This isn't news. If I was able to analyze all of this and see this the whole time, if I can see the trends and the demographics, and if I could call this a decade ago, they've known this. They knew this too. Yeah, you ain't going to find the Jason Johnsons out there anymore. You're not going to find them. Just understand, if Kamala Harris loses this election, a whole bunch of folk who were talking a whole bunch of trash and a whole bunch of mess, they're going to get real quiet real quick. A whole bunch of folk who've been trying to talk trash all this time, just mark my words, they gonna get real quiet, real silent, real fast because they'll have given up hope. I mean, they're not gonna get any jobs on CNN. What good are they if they can't deliver the black vote? Roland Martin is scared to death right now, so that's why he's trying to give out the excuse he got was, well, y'all didn't give me enough money. Roland Martin is terrified right now because if Kamala Harris loses, all he can say is, y'all didn't give me enough money. Y'all didn't give us enough money. If y'all had given me more money, we could have been more effective. Roland, you didn't get nothing done with the money you got. You didn't get anything done with the money you received. You didn't make anything pop with that. How long you gonna run that grift? I guess until this VW bug gives out, but in any case, no, they're going to keep working that. Look, folks, if you stick around long enough, eventually you get to see what's happening. Eventually you get to see what's really happening. And eventually some folks have to start telling the truth. Yeah, this is what it was and this is what it is the whole time. This is what it is. It's always been this. It's always been this. The numbers were going down. We've been trying to figure out how to get that new black vote, but the new black vote is listening to the new black media. And we're trying to figure out how to get that vote, but at the same time, carry on the same song and dance we did with the civil rights generation. We've been trying to figure out how to do that. In the chat room, Wentborn needs to give me a call on Zoom. I guess you're trying to call yourself Winterborn, so Winterborn needs to give us a call on Zoom. Let me go ahead and get that up here for you here. But Winterborn, no, we're not going to ban you just yet. You're going to go ahead and give us a call and tell us why it is that we're going to get put in jail if Kamala don't win. So the woman who's putting black folk in jail, now, if she don't win, we going to jail. Where's the logic here? Is logic even? I want to hear what the logic here is in that. What are you trying to say, dude? Where did you get that from? Where'd you get that from? Kamala Harris, her job is to lock black folk up. If y'all don't vote for her, she's going to jail. It's like, dude, I want to hear the logic and the reasoning that was involved here. I want to hear that one. I want to see tell me how that logically makes any sense. I want him to call up so everybody can hear how intelligent he sounds, so he can go ahead and make the case here. Trump gonna have y'all. Trump gonna have y'all in tears. Is okay, because things are going so great now, right? What's going to happen under Trump that isn't happening now? What happened under Trump in the last 4 years that isn't also happening now? Where's the difference? Anybody else out there, if you want to call me up, the link to the Zoom is pinned at the top of the chat room there. I want to know, what did Barack Obama do for us? All you Democrats who are sitting out there in the audience, you scared to death because, yeah, people don't listen to CNN. They listen to the internet, they listen to social media, and we run the yard. They don't listen to the old puppets and pawns of the old black media. Yeah, they listen to us. So you're worried right now, and you're very, very scared, and you are extremely nervous because, yeah, it's like, okay, but man, what we gonna do? Okay, well, explain to all of us, if you think we're wrong, what did Obama do for us? What did he do for us? What did Obama accomplish for us that we need to maintain? Jason, them were the good old days. Okay, tell me what he accomplished for us in the so-called good old days that we need to preserve. Tell me what his accomplishment was for us. We know what his accomplishment was for him. I'm asking you, okay, other than him getting the White House, what he delivered to us was what? That should be a very simple question for Obama butt kissers to do. That should be very simple for you to answer. You should be able to easily answer that. What did Obama do? What did he accomplish for us? All you're going to do is list all Obamacare, and that's all you're going to do. You're not going to name anything he actually did for us. What did Joe Biden do for us? You're going to name some hand-picked Negroes? I know what he did for Ketanji Brown Jackson. That wasn't for us. I know what they did to Emmett Till. Now, can we talk about that one? Anybody who wants to defend Kamala Harris or Joe Biden's administration and talk about the Justice Department, which is a contradiction in terms, if you want to talk about that, by the way, can we talk about Emmett Till? Let's talk about Carolyn Bryant and Emmett Till. I'd like to talk about that for a moment. Let's talk about what they did to us. Let's talk about all the folk who've been murdering black folk that in cold blood on video, and they ain't did nothing to them. They haven't done anything to them. They're still walking the streets and everything is all Swayze. Hell, when you have an opportunity to get Carolyn Bryant, how the hell do you miss that one? How the hell do you fumble that ball? You fumble that ball because you don't want it. Winterborn is not on Zoom yet, so he needs to be removed from the chat room. He had his opportunity to call in, so y'all know how that goes. Come on, man. You know how it goes. You know how it goes, man. They sit there and the old nigga, it'll be some old nigga sitting around with his Metamucil. That's the problem right here. The problem is y'all young niggas out here. Y'all need to pull your bands up. Y'all young fellas need to pull your bands up out here. That's the problem right there. Y'all blaming Obama. Obama did the best he could. Yes, he did. Obama did the best he could. Y'all are just disrespectful. Y'all are disrespectful. Y'all need to stop all that damn whining and complaining. Hand me my pills. I don't have any pills around here, so ordinarily I would put in some sound effects. I don't have any pills around here, so I don't have any. But you get the point. You get the point. Well, Fonzie is on Zoom. I don't know what's going on with Fonzie. His Zimbabwe broadband is acting up on him, so he's in Zoom, he's out of Zoom. It's a bad situation. We can't make that happen. All right, Joseph is on Zoom. Joseph, Let me give you a moment here. I don't know what you're doing. If you're getting ready to do your OnlyFans or finger fetish or whatever, I need you to swing that over for me. I'll give you 5 seconds, and then that's a wrap. So Joseph got 5 seconds. I don't know, folks. You're not going to get on until I see you. So there's just the bottom line. So my trolls are the most unluckiest people on the planet because, by the way, you didn't get the memo. Jason's not going to bring you on till you get to that point. So Joseph is taking a permanent vacation. Fonzie, I don't know what happened to you on Zoom, brother, so I hope you get an upgrade from that DSL you're using or whatever it is you got there. So hope you can get an upgrade from that. Maybe you'll get a moment to get that put together, but hopefully you can get an upgrade from that DSL and that flip phone you got going on. Okay, let me see if I can get Christopher Johnson up here. And folks, like I say, I'm not going to put you on the big screen, but I definitely need to see who I'm looking at here. All right, Chris, we got you on Zoom, brother. What's on your mind?
How you doing, Jay? Good to see you.
All right, brother.
My man, I'm so proud of and thankful of the Black News Media Network and the Black Channel News Network for giving us the talking points that we needed to combat this, conservative, Black people don't do this, we don't do that, we don't come together. Because for years, these people, like our sister Candace Owens and them, have been using these arguments, Black people, stop voting Democrat, y'all stupid, and now, and we see that they were right in some aspect, but we did need these talking points to be able to come back and defend ourselves. Obama getting up here bashing Black men, talking about what we are not doing. We voted for you in 2008. You had people coming out who hadn't voted since the 60s come out and vote for this brother. And he didn't do anything for us. And now,
Yeah, and talking like we just eternally owe you something. So if you get something done, we owe you. And if you don't do a damn thing, we owe you even more. And the other thing is, brother, keep that damn energy when you go talk to AIPAC. Keep that energy when you talk to the Christians. Keep that energy when you talk to the Muslims. Keep that energy when you talk to the illegal. Keep that energy when you talk to the LGBT. You ain't keeping that energy with them. So these are folk who told you to kiss their white asses, and you didn't keep that energy with them?
Come on.
Now, how the hell we gonna let you disrespect us? We gave you more support. If you ain't talking to everybody like that, don't talk to nobody like that.
Come on now.
Damn sure not the folks who had your back more than anybody else, and you didn't do. You should be ashamed. We did everything for you. You didn't do a damn thing for us, and then got the nerve to sit up here and try to smart off and get slick at the mouth. Them old niggas spoiled them. The old niggas spoiled these people. That's why we got them in shock right now, because we're not going to spoil you no more.
No, they really believe, they really believe that we are the baby boomer generation who were able to make a come up by working into the big three, right? Ford, GM, Chrysler, and so on. Who gave up the fight because they thought that these crumbs were worth it. And then they left, and then those brothers who didn't make it into the big three, they got bombed, they got thrown into prison. Okay. And then a whole nother generation of young Black men were left to defend for themselves. And then y'all criticized them for the way they had to get it. I'm a part of that generation who grew up without, by the grace of our higher power, got some common sense. And I see these older heads talking about y'all gotta, it's a shame, y'all gotta get it. I got mine, get yours. That's terrible.
Yeah, you got to give up more for them. Professor Scott Galloway talked about this, that we're really in this, this gerontocracy where the old folk are voting themselves more rights and voting themselves more privileges. So you have a bunch of septuagenarians and octogenarians in the government. You have an ancient constituency and a bunch of ancient people in the government, and all they're doing is just progressively voting themselves more things. That's all they're doing now. They're not fixing nothing we talked about. If you're not old and senile, they're not doing anything. So all they're doing is taxing us and want us to support them.
Yes,
As
sir.
you get older, you're supposed to be passing that on to the folk behind you. They're like, hey,
Yes.
we flipping this around. You young folk, you going to pass it. You going to kick it up to us. You supposed to be kicking it down. They're supposed to be
Amen.
kicking it down to us. They're telling us, no, y'all need to kick it up to us. So, look, I was first through the door. I was the guy who wasn't afraid to call it what it was and just say, hey, if it's going to be controversial, somebody needs to call out this thing for what it is. Now you have a lot more people who are saying it, even if not saying it quite as overtly. Yeah, this idea that we're just going to keep selling ourselves out, no, that's not going to work. What have you done for me lately? And that starts with the old folk. What have you done? You had enough kicked up to you. It's time for you to start kicking it down. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, that's that. Because these old niggas, they brag about how they could leave the front door open. They were more closely knit. They couldn't get in trouble at school without making it up the street, without the whole neighborhood whooping their ass. And it took a village to raise a child. They brag about that, and then they left the young generation hanging. And then said, I got mine, you better get yours. And then they criticize the babies for the way they have to get it. So I thank again for the Black Channel News Network for giving us babies the talking points needed and the courage that was needed to battle against this system of racism and white supremacy. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get my man Michael up here on Zoom. All right, we got Michael here on Zoom. His internet's usually working pretty good. All right, Michael, what's on your mind?
Yeah, can you see? Can you
yes,
see?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, when you talk about Barack Obama, he didn't do anything for us. I just don't think that, he's built like that. I mean, he's not no rough and tumble nigga. When he got up there in the halls of power, he saw all those white folks. He knew that if he stepped out of line, that, that they could do pretty much what they want to do to him. And he's just not, he wasn't built like that. And he knows that black people, that they might have had his back, but how much power could they have? Those people really would have went in on him.
No, Mike, no.
You think he's built like that?
Brother, what I'm saying is that what we tend to do, because we kind of become sympathetic in some ways, we start giving a rather sympathetic view to why people do the things they do. And the bottom line is we have to accept that you didn't know these people. Nancy Pelosi and them knew what they were, and this is who they really are. Barack Obama ain't your brother. He was dating nothing but non-black women before he wanted to run for president. You have to accept it. It's like, hey, he wanted to run through all the white women he could before he had to swear off white women for good. And I guess, unless he's doing it on the low, which is a very possible thing. There are rumors that that's actually the case, that him and Michelle ain't even really together like that no more. So it's like Will and Jada. But brother, we can't make excuses. This is who Kamala Harris really is. It wasn't a fluke. Take a look at where she's living at, who she with, the man she is. Take a look at her sexual history and behavior. That's who she really is. That's what it really is. Don't let the fact that they got some manicured image running for office. This is who she really is. This is how she really feels. She really don't fool with you. She'll make some campaign stops, but other than that, I don't really fool with you niggas. Your job is to vote for us. So no, brother, he really does have an affinity for white society. He really does have an animosity towards us. He just wanted to get in office, but basically you notice they tried to use the same strategy with Kamala they used with him. Hurry up and rush him into office before people have a chance to really look through the files and really dig through the crates and figure out what you're really about. So that's why he had to go straight from the Senate right to president. You can't even serve out your full Senate term. You got to go right to president, because if you stick around too long, people are going to see what you really are, and we can't afford for them to do that. This is who he really is. He really don't fool with us. He really doesn't like us. He doesn't have any interaction with us. We only really have the ability to excommunicate him politically. We can't excommunicate him socially because he's not really among us to begin with. Okay, but Michael, he never was. You can't show him connected to black society before he started attending Jeremiah Wright's church. He doesn't have any black friends or black associates. You can't name anybody from 20 years ago. Yeah, I've been rocking with him for 20, 30 years. You can't name a single one. All the black folk he talks about are the ones he met in politics when he ran for president. That's all. And once he left the White House, you didn't hear from him among us again. Because that's who he really is. We don't need to massage it. We don't need to try to rationalize it. The reality is right in front of you. He wasn't afraid of white society. He already knows how to move among them. He wasn't afraid they were going to do something. What were they going to do? No, this is who he really is. I'm here to get what I can get, and you Negroes are here to be used. Just like Michelle is here to be used.
Yeah, I mean, I think of like Harold Washington, Adam Clayton Powell, and when I think of Marion Barry, he's not cut from that cloth. That's the point that I was getting at. I mean, it seemed to me.
Well, no, he's not cut from that cloth. He's cut from the cloth of disdain. He is cut from Candace Owens' cloth. That's the real him. He's not worried. He was not worried about repercussions from white society. This is who he really is. And we have to accept that because that's how you spot the next Trojan horse. That's my mission since Barack Obama got elected, was to make sure we didn't fall for another Trojan horse. So when we saw Kamala show up, I'm like, oh, we ready for you. It's very clear what you are. Okay, we shut that down within a matter of months. Yeah, it's clear who you are. We're not going to take another Trojan horse. So the good news is we've learned from that. And the real thing is make sure we don't fall back to it again, because yeah, there's still some folks who are going to try to spin Obama up into a golden oldie and see if they can trot that back out again. If Kamala Harris loses this election, then that's the end for the both of them. We can now put that tombstone on Barack Obama, and the nation and the world will have no choice but to accept that black society has changed its perspective on him. So you can't trot him out no more. You can do it, but only now the report is going to change. We don't know if Obama can get anything done now. Black people aren't really, he doesn't really have the support he used to have. Yeah, everybody y'all bring up in here, we're going to knock him down. And you'll keep losing elections until you do what we told you to do. And that's just all there is to it. I'll let you have the last word.
Oh, getting off onto another point, I think you'll agree with me on this. The term FBA, I think that you will agree that that's a term that we should use to define ourselves. But it goes back to what I had said in an earlier broadcast. It's just that the Nguzo Saba, right? When you talk about FBA, that's one of the tenets of the Nguzo Saba, although we may not have done it consciously, and that's Kuji Chakalia. And that means, we define ourselves, foundational Black Americans. We speak for ourselves. That's a political Black agenda. So if we're on that road, why not get the other 6 tenets? And the beautiful thing about the 7 principles of Blackness is it transcends religion, and it just says that we should come together as a community, and we should transcend all those other beliefs and just come together on our Blackness.
Well, certainly there's, you know me, I've never been a big person about labels. I don't really care what you call it, because it doesn't matter if we have all the right labels and don't have the right execution. So I certainly value the names, making sure that's obviously for communication purposes. You want to be on code. But beyond that, I stand firm on what I said here before. In white society, they don't need that. So we'll truly have come into our own when those are things we can say amongst ourselves. But outside of that, the code is so strong, it doesn't require even mentioning the name anymore. No need to mention the name, no need to mention the label. You go in Asian society, brother, you don't know who you're talking to. Chinese, Korean, Japanese. All we know is that I'll be damned. It don't matter where they come from overseas. They might have their little rivalries or their little, ethnic differences. When they get over here, you can't tell the difference. So we'll have come into our own when that's where we are. That when you encounter us, it's like nobody's even really saying anything. There's just a code, and at that point, it becomes a given. So beyond all that, I don't have an issue with it necessarily, but beyond that, just remember, the end goal is to be on code to the point that we don't even say these things. Because here's the problem. There is a weakness in having to publicly identify. AIPAC, y'all don't even know who gives money to it. Think about that for just a few moments. You don't know whether they're Hasidic, fundamentalist, secular. You don't know anything. All you know is they are very well funded. Ed Blum, we don't know where the hell he's getting his money from. Think about that for just a few moments. That, by the way, if you want to know where we're supposed to be going, these other groups are hitting at us and you don't even have a name. No name, no label, don't know what their tenets are, don't know what their religious beliefs are, personal beliefs, social beliefs. You don't know what it is, except they don't like you. Well, that they seem to be very clear on. So, you know me, I don't give a damn what you call it because I want to get past semantics as quickly as possible. I want to get straight to the action. Call it whatever you will. Let's get to the action part. And then you can call it whatever you want. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Sharice up here. All right, there's Sharice. Why are you trying to look like Erykah Badu? All right, what's on your mind, Sharice?
That's my sister. How you doing, brother? I've listened to you for years, but I think this might be my first time getting your call. I'm telling you, these are exciting times. 2024, we are kicking in a damn door. I think of this as the year of the cat, K-A-T-T. He came out the door saying that everything was going to get exposed. Even if Kamala, I like to call her Kamala, and they can call me racist or whatever the hell they want to call me. But one thing I know is I'm FBA and she ain't on no day. But one thing I could say is we have seen her to be incompetent, to be a liar on every level. And I already knew what Obama was back in the day. I never voted for him. I knew he was a play. I knew he was them trying to use their hand to try to give themselves a better face because the man before him was such a clown. I believe it was the young Bush. But the reality for me was I saw how at the time I was young, I was still married. My young son, you know, we walk into the market and folks would be like, oh, he looks like the president on a Sunday because my son got a suit on. So those types of things, I did see like the beauty of that. But he was just a face in a high place. That's all the hell he was. And he aggressively did things against us. He put us, our sister, our goddess, Asada Shakur, on the most wanted list, on the top 10. You got me messed up.
Oh boy, you dug back through the crates on that, and that's a big issue. Folks don't really want us to do this. They don't really want us to have a real post-mortem on Barack Obama and talk about what he really did. They don't want us to really do this. So, yeah, they really need to back off of trying to big up him and boost him. You don't want us to actually start talking about what the real record is. We're not going to do like the old folks did and cover it up. No, we're going to talk about if we talk about the real record, it gets way worse.
Okay. And so I'm just loving the fact that everybody in the FBA community all over the world is telling him to sit his little ass down. You know, you made us a clown, but now we're gonna make you the clown. And that's where we are. So I love it. I don't know what else is gonna come out of 2024, but I'm telling you, this year has kicked down the damn door. And I'm proud of you guys in the new Black media. I call you the real Black media. You're not new no more. I mean, you've been out here kicking down doors, but I love you guys. I love Brother Tariq, yourself, all the people I listen to, Brother Reza, and you all give us strength in different ways. My goddess, Vicky Dillard, my God. Okay, so just keep doing what you do, brother. Know that we hold you up in high esteem, and we got each other's back. You covered.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, sister. We appreciate that. And like I say, I mean, we are the Black media. You take a look at my YouTube page. It says that we are the Black media. But I'm always going to value that title of the new Black media because that represents a change in paradigm. That represents a change in epoch. Look it up, EPOCH. That represents a generational shift. So we are distinguishing ourselves from everything that's come before. So that's one of the reasons I embrace that label. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Armageddon 026 on. Let me see if I can get him on so folks don't walk around the house when you're on Zoom and whatnot. You've been got them walked away right when it's time to answer. All right, brother, I hope you're wearing some clothes up in there. What's on your mind, sir? Okay, y'all, he is not. Okay, well, all right, what's on your mind, brother?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about Barack Obama. What got me on Barack Obama was when he went to Flint, Michigan, and that remember that water thing, people were dying and stuff up there, and he drank that water. It tastes good to me, that really, and I didn't vote for Barack Obama because he had chose Biden as his vice president. I already knew about Biden, about the Biden law. So I didn't even vote. I didn't even vote for Obama. But I just wanted to say that. And I was in the military when Obama was in office. And while I was in the service, they put what's it called? They brought up that LGBT, and they had a meeting about that, and talking about they are allowed in the military now, and they have the right to be respected. I had to endure listening to that, and that was all under his administration. And I want just to say that and thank you for what you do. I really listen to you a lot, and thank you for what you do, brother.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here. Like I say, y'all, if we go digging back through the crates and go over his whole administration and everything that happened, you don't want that list getting rattled off. The folk who think they're going to trot him back out, you don't really want to get the final report on him and what we really think of it. By the way, y'all, these Negroes, I don't know what it is. They call me up. They in bed. They ain't got their shirts on and whatnot. They real comfortable. So it's just, I'm like, okay, I don't know what to think sometimes. Make me scared to answer the phone. Make me scared to do it. As soon as I see that, I'm like, oh, they're trying to get their OnlyFans popping. All right, let me see. I got Gavin on the line here. Gavin, what's on your mind?
All right. Good evening, brother. How you doing? And to your listeners, I'll try and be brief because I know you're trying to move things forward, but let's just rewind the clock back to 2 points. Number one, I believe it was in 2013 when Barack Obama was giving a commencement speech, I think at Clark Atlanta University. And he scolded black men then basically about pulling up by their bootstraps, not making excuses and so forth.
Yeah, I think he compared us to the women then too. So stuff like that.
Correct. And I remember, and you may not like, people can love him or hate him, but I remember Boyce Watkins even calling him out for that stuff. And he basically gave a finger wagging like a Bill Cosby speech, like a rising tide, but lifts all boats. But I will say this in defense of Dr. Cosby, at least in his 80 years, he did more for black people than Barack Obama ever did in his 8 years in office as president. Second point, I'd also talk about what happened in 2015 with Freddie Gray. Freddie Gray's neck was snapped in several places, and you had people in Baltimore rising up, pissed off at what happened with the police department. And Barack Obama, out of his own mouth, referred to all of those kids who were rioting and protesting as thugs and hooligans. So he has always had a disdain with black men. And he is basically in the picture perfect. He and Kamala practically can be twins because they're not like us. Everybody talks about him being the first black president. We've never had a black president. We've had a president of color. A black American president, someone that has ties to this community, to us as a descendant of slaves, has never happened yet in the United States. And it wouldn't happen with Kamala Harris. And the bottom line is, she is not like us. She's made it abundantly clear she's not going to do anything for black people. She's going to be Barack Obama 2.0, and I think it's going to be even worse.
Oh, much worse in that regard. And you bring up a good point there, because the Democrats' political disposition towards us, their political posture, is hazing.
Right.
They don't come to us and speak with the reverence and bow and bend the knee and kiss the ring as they should for the, quote, most loyal voter base. They come to the most loyal voter base talking all crazy.
Right.
So this idea that everything is hostile towards us and everything is smarting off at the mouth. There's the thing right there. It's like, whoa, y'all are salty and slick at the mouth in a way that really, what kind of politician talks to people like this who actually wants to vote? So their idea of dealing with us is political hazing. And we have a huge incentive, if nothing else, to resist that, to put folks on notice. You don't come to us talking to us crazy. You come to us talking to us I'm talking about with hat in hand. Hello, sir. Yes, ma'am. That's the way you approach us. We're not your friends. We're not your brothers. When you run up on these other folk, them folk actually need to get talked to like that. And you're not talking to them that way. Then you show up with us like that. No. We need to make it, for no other reason, we need to make an example of them for this. If for no other reason to stop that.
Right.
I'll let you have the last word.
Right, and I'm going to say this. This is backfiring really against the Democrats, to your point, Jason, because if anything, when I see stuff like this makes black people want to go even further, vote for Donald Trump, or even sit at home. But I mean, even voting for Trump because say what you want about him. The fact is, the Democrats have, and I always think that black people are to be taken for granted, and Judge Joe Brown, he's mentioned he's voting for Trump. He thinks it's important to send some type of message. And I'm not here to do a campaign for Trump. I'm not. But I'm honestly it would make me happy just to see the Democratic cities like Chicago and New York, although I don't think it's going to happen in New York, but Chicago for sure, because they're talking about flipping red, New Orleans, Atlanta, just to spite these people because they richly deserve it. And the bottom line is Barack Obama will go back to Chicago and make his presidential library, because other than that, he has no legacy. For me, the only legacy he has is for LGBTQ and immigrants and white women who want to abort their kids, because that's all the people he talked passionately for. He went on X and praised Bruce Jenner for getting on a dress on Vogue magazine. Why is the president of the United States even talking about some shit that doesn't even involve him? It doesn't. It shouldn't. But I think we can look at his history. We can see why he had such an interest in that stuff. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. I mean, he got something to say. Let me go ahead and see if I can get SOS up here. All right, SOS, what's on your mind? I'm waiting for his audio to get connected here. All right, SOS, what's on your mind? Okay, sir, your audio is super, super low, so I think I can hear a little bit. I'm not really sure where it's coming from. Check whatever you're using for that.
Is the audio any better, Jason?
Okay, yeah, that's a little bit better here, sir. You're going to have to yell into that, but what's on your mind?
Well, good evening to you and your audience, man. I'm a fan, and I've been listening to you for a while. And you have put out a lot of information that is very important to the people. When it comes to this guy, Barack Obama, I have always been suspicious of him. I have known that the history of America, including the presidents, the numbers of the presidents have a symbology behind it. The number of justices, according to Pythagoras, is the number 4. They made Obama the 44th president. That's 4 plus 4 equal 8. That's double jeopardy, brother. He is someone who they put in place as a symbol of the oppression that is about to come upon us as a people.
Well, that was what they did the first time there, and that was the whole point, is you have window dressing, and oh, don't worry, we got somebody like y'all. This is why we checking paperwork. This is why we got to run the paperwork, run the documentation. We're no respecter of persons. You fooled us one time with that. They want to see if they can keep milking it, and what we've shown them is that that's not really going to run any further. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Yeah, it's running out for you. Folks are worried. Folks are very concerned. And here's the thing, folks. We don't have to flip places, red or blue or anything like that. We just got to be us. This election is over if Kamala Harris loses 5% of the black vote. What? I've been saying this to you consistently. People, that's what it is. The number isn't 25%. If Kamala Harris loses 5% of the black vote. And by that means that people either switch to vote for Trump or they stay home. And you notice Obama keeps talking about staying home, staying home, staying home. They're addressing us from here in the new black media. They're addressing us. You notice they're addressing what we say. I hear folks talking about staying home. Yeah, Obama, that's your legacy. So he's not worried that people are going to vote for Trump. He's just worried that, by the way, you will vote with your feet. You will vote to do something other than him. Wait a minute, y'all need to shore up my legacy. So people, I can say this in no uncertain terms, 5%. That's the number. 5%. They lose 5% of the black vote. That's it. Trump either wins by a little or he wins by a lot. But if she's got to hold that black vote where it is. I showed you all this weeks ago to let you know, I'm not just talking out of nowhere. I'm not just saying this out of nowhere. Remember, I showed this to you a couple of weeks ago. I've been keeping my finger on the pulse of it. Those internal polls. There's data points that are showing that this isn't good. That all that happy talk they tried to give out, and now they're asking one question, which is, by the way, people don't like Joe Biden's administration. How would a Harris administration be different? And y'all saw on television, 60 Minutes, The View, she got asked, how will you be different from the guy who's in there now? Well, I wouldn't really do things different. And folks are like, oh my goodness. She says she wouldn't do things differently. Okay, if you're just going to be more of the same the last 3 years, folks already didn't like him. You're telling them you're going to be more of the same. She didn't get the memo. She didn't get the memo. She didn't know how to catch the ball. This is a tough spot to be in. So if you all want my definitive analysis, it has been consistent. It has not changed. It will not change. I've looked at the numbers. I've analyzed it. Yes, folks, she loses 5%. Every candidate has some lossage. They have some churn. You have people who go one way or the other. But if she loses 5% of the black vote, that'll be enough to lose 1 or 2% in the places she needs it. She needs it in Pennsylvania. She needs it in Georgia. It's not optional. She can't have a bunch of unenthusiastic people who are just like, I'm not enthused enough to get up off the couch to go vote. She can't have that. She needs folks to show up and show out. She needs that. So recognize what the real number is, 5%. 5, not 20. I don't even think 10. 5. What I'm telling you is any softening whatsoever. She encounters any softening and she won't recover. That's the problem. And their internal polls are telling them this. Let me go ahead and see. I got Lawrence here on Zoom. All right, Lawrence has got his microphone sitting there for him. Hope he can get that together. All right, Lawrence, it looks like you took the night off from bouncing at the club. What's on your mind?
How you doing, Jason?
Yeah, he looks like he part of big nigga security. All right, what's on your mind, Lawrence?
Man, I just wanted to give a quick notation because one of the sisters that called in, she brought up how, Obama went after our sister Shada Shakur. And, I find it very funny how Kamala went after Nina Simone and her family and her trust. So tethers are going to tether. That's basically all it is. And that's all I'm seeing. But I appreciate you for taking the call. Much love to you.
Thank you very much for giving this call tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Yeah, y'all, he took the night off from security at the door at Magic City to give me a call, so I appreciate that. Either that or he was on long enough, he got time to double back. He's got time to double back. So we didn't hold him here very long, so he got in, got out. All right, I got Eric on the line here. Eric, what's on your mind?
What's going on, Jason Black? You doing okay? All
right, brother. Look like you're on your way to Kamala Harris's house. What's on your mind?
Hey, I want to, I got this, I'm on your platform. I want to address the candidates. Donald Trump, what you gonna do for black folks, man? You know, we want that check. We got it spelled out for you. You can still win. It's not too late. Now, it will be too late, but you got to come up with them funds. Kamala Harris, it's not too late. You got to come up with them funds. Let's talk reparations and this check we supposed to get. Everybody else getting paid. We need our money. Where's the money? Y'all keep pointing the fingers. Well, they got your money. They got your money. Yeah, you can still win. So
hey, if they got our money and they got our money over here and they got our money over there, then guess what? They got your vote over here and they got your vote over there. And they got your vote way back there somewhere.
That's right. And so if neither one of y'all speak up about my money, let's just try it again next time because I'm voting the couch.
Yeah. Look, folks. I said this in 2016. I said it in 2020. I said, look, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the real easy way. If you decide to keep up the nonsense you've been doing, then guess what? We can do this all over again in 2022 and 2024 and 2026 and 2028 and 93 until infinity. We gonna be here. So if you don't learn your lesson now, we can just do this all over again in a few years. The taste is gonna get worse for you every time we do this, though.
Yeah, and I mean, in your opinion, now, when do you think this is gonna? I mean, they changed. They're tweaking it every election cycle, where it's getting real close to saying something about it. Talking about it. But do you think maybe 2 cycles in the future they're gonna finally have to say, man, look, let's give these people this money, man.
If they get their asses handed to them in 2024 and then 2028, 2 straight losses, that's what I've always predicted. I told y'all in 2020, I said one will not be enough. They're just gonna say that's a fluke. So if they lose, they would have to lose 2 back to back. If they lose 2 presidential elections back to back, plus the black vote shrinks each time. If that occurs, then that's when they will finally concede that they are in crisis and they won't be able to bull jive or jive talk their way out of this. That's when folks are going to be like, look, we got to do something different. All y'all old folk back there telling us to do the same old thing. I don't know if it'll be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or whoever, but some of them folks are going to be like, okay, Nancy, you got to get out of here. Obama, you got to get out of here. Y'all are not working. We have to do something different. The same old song and dance is not working. We must accept that this is a paradigm shift from where we've been. This is not a temper tantrum. This is the new normal. We have to deal with that. So I've said this here before, but it will take 2 presidential election cycles with a diminishing black vote each time. That is when they'll set off the alarms.
Okay. Well, look, man, I'm looking forward to next week, man. I'm paid up on my special invitation, man. I even bought an extra ticket just in case.
Well, I sent you an email. You never responded to him. This niggas don't check. They give me the baby mama email. That's what they do. They give me their child support emails. That's what happens. They pay for these things, and it's like they give me the child support email. Then if something doesn't show up, then they go back and look through it. Damn, I got like 20, 40 emails up in here. So, folks, at least for Jason, give me the email y'all actually check. Don't give me the baby mama email, the child support email, the one y'all give the credit card company you ain't paying. Don't give me that one. Give me the one you look at.
Okay. Well, man, I'm telling you, I'm going back. I'm looking through my emails, man, again. But, man, I'm telling you, bro, keep beating that drum. I'm gonna beat it with you. And, man, look, we got to get our money, man. It's time to get the money. It's time to get it.
Or we can do this all over again in 4 years, whichever you prefer, because we going to be here. Now, Kamala won't, and Obama won't, but we'll be right here, whether you here or not. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We can do this one way or the other. But we're not going nowhere. We're going to be right here in 2028 and 2032, whatever it's going to be. So we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the real easy way. Let's talk about that check. Let's talk about that Freedman's Bank, whatever you want to call it. I'm not stuck on labels. People, I'm perfectly fine if you talk about something. I don't care if you call it reparations. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Giving Bruce's Beach back to our people. I don't care what name you give it. I'm not stuck on that. Call it whatever you want to call it. just so long as you do it. Cut the check. I don't care what you call it. Call it unemployment, call it stimulus. I don't give a damn. Get it done. Call it whatever you need to call it to make it palatable, whoever the word you scared of. Call it whatever you need to say, but get it done. See, that's how flexible I am, folk. I don't care if they never call it reparations. Get it, so long as you get it done. Well, we can cut some checks. We can't do reparations, but we can cut some checks. Okay, call it whatever you want to. We can call it unemployment. We can call it whatever you want to call it. Remuneration, whatever. I'm fine. Whatever name you want to slap on it. Whatever name you want to call the program, whatever name you want to call the bank, as long as you get it done. And from there, you can call it whatever you want. Let me go ahead and take one more call here. I got MB on. Here, so I'll give you a minute to go ahead and get things loaded up for you here, MB. Need to have that stuff going. All right, I got MB on the line. MB, what's on your mind?
Hold on, let me get my audio straight here if I can.
We can hear
hello?
you. Okay, niggas get close to the microphone. Go back to whatever you were doing because we heard you before. We don't hear you now. Okay, y'all. Why does he look like Parrish Smith from EPMD? Brother, we can't hear you though. So wherever you had to set it on before when you first got on, that's what it needs to be because we couldn't hear you. I mean, we can't hear you.
Oh, my fault, Mike. My fault.
I know it is. Anyway, what's on your mind?
Hey, brother, thanks for being patient with me. Man, this is a great broadcast, man. It's a great broadcast. A lot I could dig into. One thing that really hits me about the words of Obama, and other than my regret of voting his ass in for those 2 terms, is the fact that everything he said wasn't for us, like for you and me and everyone else that says, "Oh, forget about him." I think that was really more so for like our folks, our folks that's still stubborn and voting Obama, so they can nag our asses on, no, what are you talking about? You're not voting for Kamala, like that. I think that's really for us to really egg them on to nag our asses. Otherwise, he must already know that is not going to hit with us to begin with. That's really to rile up the other folks in his base who, unfortunately, they're still going to be overwhelmingly voting his ass in. For Kamala, is just, how big is that pool going to be come November? But that's really, I think, to really rile them up to go at us. I think that's what that was really.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're pulling out all the stops. Let me see if we can get grandma to nag you. That's why he mentioned prescription drugs and whatnot. They ain't gonna get in the way of your drugs if these young folk here out of control. Okay, she's supposed to be thinking about what we gonna get, not what she gonna get. She's already got hers. So I mean, this is for everything. Can we get other folks? That's the whole reason for trying to make the gender war thing. That's what to get the females to put pressure on us. They're gonna take away your reproductive rights. We're not taking away a damn thing. But by the way, what good is a female who does not want to carry on with the world we're doing? So if you're against black babies, I don't know, we got a use for you. I don't really know what we're doing with you over here. So now you got some explaining to do. So yeah, this is all about, okay. And here's the other thing. If you actually live around black men, you talk around us, you are actually ingrained with us, you know not to talk to us like that. You know full damn well that's violation street code right there. Dude, you can't talk to other black men like that. You know full well you don't never talk crazy. Imagine if you were at the check cashing store or the bank and the teller was talking to you like that. I think it's, you just don't like black women. Nigga, what? Like, dude, come on now. You know full well that's violation. You don't talk to us like that. So that shows us you don't really have any interaction with us because you way out of line. You way out of line speaking to us, getting slick at the mouth like that. You're way off code. So that just shows you what it is right there. Ain't nothing for us to talk about. The bottom line is Obama walk in the room, ain't nothing for us to discuss. We ain't like you, dude. You not like us. We not like you. You got an agenda that's against us. Period. Ain't nothing for me to talk about. You walk up in here, might as well be David Duke. We got nothing to speak on. Nothing. You had your chance to talk to us 14 years ago. That was your time to speak to us. You ain't got nothing to say now. You damn sure ain't leading nothing. That's the part that is insulting to our intelligence, that him of all people is still leading something. He's going to have a big ass wake up call if that woman loses and realize he ain't leading nothing. Because now he can't even pretend he's leading anything anymore. Now the media will have to concede, yeah, Obama's really a dead issue. He's really irrelevant. He's not leading anything. Obama, you lost in 2024, and do you think it's 2028, do you want to go back? I've taken a look around the landscape, and me and Michelle we're walking around our villa, and it's just at this point right now, I think my final disposition is that can't do nothing with these niggas. So, like I say, that's where we at today. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, that's pretty much it with Obama, and also with Kamala. You was talking about you can't think of anything regarding her benefiting us with real estate. And I'm just going to leave with the point that I do remember one thing that she was supposed to have done back when she was supposed to top cop, and that was, I forgot the name of that real estate financial entity. They basically was hitting people, presumably disproportionately us, they were hitting people with illegal foreclosures, and her office was like crickets when people were saying, hey, why aren't you prosecuting against them? But then by the time she was running for Senate, the top dude of that company pretty much donated to her campaign. So, I mean, that's pretty
Wells
much it
Fargo, Bank of America, whoever, we should own half the banks in America for what they owe us for messing us over. The government talk about they fine them. Okay, you didn't get our damn money back. You didn't fix the damn situation. We should own all those banks should be forfeited to us for what they've done.
Get Chase.
We should forfeit all them banks, and that'll be the Freeman's Bank. Wells Fargo, the Freeman's Bank. That works for me, damn it. That fits me just fine. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. And y'all know it's the truth. All those banks should have been forfeited to us decades ago. Doing that right there, you broken every law known to man, and you finding them, damn a fine, forfeiture. We break the law, and it's asset forfeiture. These folk over here break the damn law every day. Ain't nobody forfeiting their assets. Isn't that amazing how that works? So if we break the law, your assets get forfeited, and not just for drugs. Remember Omi and the Hellcat. Oh, you still in cable. Came and grabbed everything he owns. You break the law, your assets are forfeited. Oh, you went through the airport with some money. You don't have a receipt. We're going to keep your money. So for everybody else, that's the rule. We show up, that's the rule. But for everyone else, oh, well, we can't really take what they got. We're going to let them sit with that. Well, we might fine them, but that's it. But for us, you got to drop off everything you got. Everything you got and everything you own, you got to drop it off. We have to think differently about this, and no, these are not outlandish, outrageous things to say. This is actually very practical and very logical to be saying. You shouldn't be getting fines every 5 years. The government fines you so the government gets the damn money, but the folk you messed over ain't get a dime? What the hell is this? Let me tell y'all something. If every time they did something like that, the folks they did it to got $2 million every time you did that, man, we'd all be lined up. Damn, I hope Bank of America turned down this loan, man. Oh, man, look here. Boy, I'm hoping Wells Fargo messed me over, man. If I can get that, boy, I'll be straight. Boy, it'd be a new day in America. We'd be like, hey, you can discriminate your ass off if it's going to go like that. Would you hear any of us complaining about it if that was the way it went? It's like, oh, every time you pull that bull jive, oh, here your $2 million. Man, don't y'all know white supremacy and racism would erase and go out of existence tomorrow morning? White supremacy and racism would vanish tomorrow morning. If they had to drop off a couple million every time they did that, it's like, man, look here. Negroes that show up for work with their Malcolm X shirts on. Boy, you show up at the bank with your cell phone recording. Boy, I can't wait to get turned down for this loan. I can't wait. My credit score is good. My income, boy, I can't wait to get this rejection letter. Man, look here. I got some investment property down in Florida I'm looking at getting. Can't wait. Can't wait. Niggas be disappointed coming out the damn bank. Damn! These damn folk up in here. What happened, bro? They approved my loan. What? Yeah, man, right here. They signed off on it. Right here. Damn. Boy, I was hoping they were going to turn me down. I was counting on it. Now I got this mortgage. Got this crazy interest rate. Hell wrong with you folk. Y'all gonna be walking in there with big old afros and your Black Panther power suit on and the black glove. Some of y'all gonna try to bring guns in the bank. Damn! I mean, y'all gonna be sitting down in there bold. You gonna be man-spreading. Y'all gonna get there in front of the loan officer man-spreading. Sitting there with your cell phone playing Minister Louis Farrakhan right there in front of the loan officer. They got Farrakhan playing right in front of him. They're going to go to the old Khalid Muhammad stuff. Playing it right in front of the loan officer while you filling out the thing up there. Y'all going to go try to find the craziest speeches you can. I'm talking about hostile. Sitting there like, yes, finally, we can get this loan turned down. Finally, here we go. Man done broke your heart. You've been approved. What? We approved you. But that's $400,000. Yes, we go ahead and approve that. You didn't even call to verify my damn employment. Oh, that's all right. What do you mean that's all right? What the hell kind of bank y'all running? It's coming. One way or the other, it's coming. That's what it's going to be. Period. End of discussion. So we can do this the easy way or we can do this the real easy way. We can do this now. We can do this in 4 years from now. We're going to be here. Count on it. I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who's contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo, my man Maurice, M. Baker, Felicia, Mark B., Nancy, Andrea, everybody else here on Super Chat, to all of y'all, the folks who've been giving out memberships here tonight. So Ozzy Edwards, we had a few folk who've been giving out a bunch of memberships, so I definitely appreciate that as well. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Blueberry Muffin, she's been gone for a minute. NJ Williams, thank you very much as well. And to all of you who've tuned in here tonight's program, FBA Queen, she's always giving out memberships, so thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate that. And to all the rest of you here as well. And if you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend and on holidays and sometimes in between. Click that red subscribe button, click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you have not gotten your tickets for 8 a.m., blackchannelfilms.com, blackchannelfilms.com. You can see our previous documentary work. And for New York and D.C., we got everything else coming here as well. Thank you for your patience. Still working on that. Cyberdyne, Go, everyone else here, thank you very much for your support. Tomorrow night, I'm looking at having Jill Stein join us. So if you want to be on that conversation, I'm probably going to put a post here on YouTube. After the program, I'm probably going to put up a post here on YouTube asking you all what questions you want me to ask. So if we get her on here tomorrow night, I'll see about putting up a post here on the channel here after the program, so you all can let me know what kind of questions, you want to ask. So we'll go ahead and make this. We are something that Roland Martin and the rest of them can't do. We are interactive radio. We are the new black media. We take you to places nobody else can, and we give you the ability to be heard that nobody else does. This is why, Mr. Solomon Jones, they don't listen to you. They listen to us. I'm invested in the soil. I got to give these people a voice because I am the people. Thank you all for tuning in live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority, And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future and the future is uncompromising.